continuing through the pandemic. And I would like to start out tonight by welcoming our new board member, Dr. Berthina Naba McKinney. She was appointed by the Metro Council to fill the District 4 seat that was left vacant by Anna Shepard. And she was sworn in last week, but we're really glad to have you here tonight, Berthina. Welcome. Also would like to welcome I'm sorry, are you there?
I am. I'm having technical difficulties, but thank you so much for your warm welcome, and I'm happy to be here.
Okay, thank you. We're glad to have you. Also would like to welcome two newly elected board members who are participating here virtually and will be sworn in September. Emily Masters was elected to fill retiring board member Jill Spearing's seat in District 3, and Abigail Tyler was elected last Thursday to fill my seat in District 9. And so we're really happy to have these new board members. I want to say welcome to everyone, and particularly welcome to Dr. Naba McKinney for your first official meeting. Before we get started on the consent agenda, we have a request from Dr. Gentry to make a motion to amend the agenda to allow for a tribute. And so Dr. Gentry, I will let you have the floor.
Sure. Do we want to do the call to order and establish the quorum first?
Yes, that would probably be good. Dr. Severe, would you want to go and do that?
Dr. Gentry?
I hear.
Gentry's present. Ms. Elrod?
Here.
Elrod is present. Ms. Spearing?
Present.
Ms. Spearing is present. Dr. Naba McKinney?
Present.
Dr. Naba McKinney is present. Ms. Buggs?
Present.
Ms. Buggs is present. Ms. Bush? Ms. Bush? Ms. Player-Peters?
Present.
Ms. Player-Peters is present. Ms. Pippa-Walker?
Present.
Ms. Pippa-Walker is present. And Ms. Froeg?
Present.
Ms. Froeg's present. Madam Chair, I count 8 present.
All right, thank you. Dr. Gentry.
Thank you, Ms. Froeg, and thank you for the indulgence. To those who are listening and fellow board members, I'd like to just take this moment to say a few words about Mr. Leonard H. Morton Sr. Those of you who may remember a long time member of our community and a member of the MNPS family, who was a gifted and talented musician and educator who transitioned on Sunday, July the 12th. He was born in Chicago, Illinois, on September 10th of 1927. He was enrolled in the military in the Army. When he left the Army, he enrolled in the category of music. He wanted to attend an African-American school, and so he transferred to what was then known as Tennessee A&I College here in Nashville, Tennessee, where he majored in music. In 1949, he made what is known, come to be known as one of the most profound decisions and had the most profound impact on his life when he was initiated into the Alpha Theta chapter of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. He graduated from Tennessee A&I College with both a Bachelor of Science and Master's of Science degrees in music education. He launched his career in education at the Wilson County Training School for Black students in Lebanon, Tennessee during segregated times. He was a music teacher there and the author of the school's alma mater, which he entitled Wilson County High Alma Mater, not Wilson County Training School Alma Mater. He named it Wilson County High in rebuttal to the prejudiced mentality which governed the times, thus de-emphasizing training school and normalizing high school for those students. He next served as director of bands at Nashville's Cameron High School from 61 to 69. He was the first as director of Nation for Metropolitan Nashville Public Schools beginning in 1978. He also found time to assist with the Tennessee State University band program, most notably working with the Aristocrat of Bands. He was an accomplished jazz musician, an outstanding pianist and arranger. He has directed many choirs and bands, and if you ever had the opportunity, which I did, to see Mr. Morton direct and ensemble. Cab Calloway had nothing on him. So on behalf of the Metropolitan Board of Education and the entire MNPS family and everyone whose life was impacted by his presence and his talents, thank you to the family of Mr. Leonard H. Morton for sharing him with us. I also wanted to share on behalf of his granddaughter, Tisha Morton Wilson, who is assistant principal at Alex Green Elementary School here in District 1, that out of his 42 years of service, with 35 of those being in MNPS, he never, and she put this in all caps and bold, never missed a workday. And he was also the first African American to hold a district level position with MNPS. Thank you so much for this opportunity, Ms. Frog, and thank you again to the Morton family.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Gentry. We are going to turn now to the consent agenda, and Dr. Gentry has requested to pull item 1B, the recommended revision to the previously approved memorandum of understanding between MNPS and Belmont University. So we're going to pull that item, and I will entertain a motion on the remaining consent agenda items.
Madam Chair, this is Jill Spearing. I move to approve the consent agenda as noted.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Spearing. Is there a second?
Second.
Was that Ms. Elrod?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. All right, I will call for a vote on the consent agenda.
Dr. Gentry?
Aye.
Dr. Gentry votes aye. Ms. Elrod?
Aye.
Ms. Elrod votes aye. Ms. Spearing?
Aye.
Spearing votes aye. Dr. Nabal-McKinney?
Aye.
Dr. Nabal-McKinney votes aye. Ms. Bugs?
Aye.
Ms. Bugs votes aye. Ms. Bush?
Aye.
Ms. Bush votes aye. Ms. Player-Peters?
Aye.
Ms. Player-Peters votes aye. Ms. Pooper-Walker?
Aye.
Ms. Pooper-Walker votes aye. Ms. Frog?
Aye.
Ms. Frog votes aye. Madam Chair, you have 9 ayes.
Okay, thank you. Now we'll take item, consent agenda item 1B. Dr. Gentry.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would just like an opportunity to hear from either Dr. Battle or someone on her staff around some of the highlights of the agreement between MNPS and Belmont University. I know that several of us on the board, if not all of us, have received a myriad of communique from members of the community and others involved and impacted by the decision. So I think just to help level set and give the board a clearer understanding of the agreement, the benefits to the district would be appreciated.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. Thank you, Dr. Gentry, for your question. I'm going to ask Melissa Roberge to come on and provide that overview for you, and then we will be prepared to ask any follow-up questions. Melissa Roberge.
Good evening, everybody. So the Belmont and MNPS lease agreement and MOU provides for Belmont to build a batting facility and building that will be used by both Belmont and MNPS. Additionally, it provides a grant of $35,000 per year with a 3% escalator. So each year it could increase, the amount will increase by 3%. That can be used for, and I'll quote right from the contract here, that can be used for after-school programs at the batting facility, Easley Center, Rose Park Middle School, or Carter Lawrence Elementary School. This is more flexible than the initial lease agreement. It gives us the flexibility to host after-school programs at any of those facilities. We will have access to the building while Belmont will handle the scheduling. We will be working together to make sure that MNPS has equal access and that we are given priority. The MOU ultimately came about after engagement with the community and getting their input. As I stated before, there are several improvements in this lease agreement that were not there before, mainly the escalator with regard to the grant, more flexibility for MNPS in the grant, and our use of the facility and scheduling. So those are kind of the highlights. I'm happy to go into more detail about the terms of the agreement, but I wanted to kind of give you that high-level overview.
Thank you, Melissa.
All right, do we have any questions?
I do. Well, actually, more some comments and then, yeah, some questions also. This is Bugs. All right, thank you, Madam Chair. But so the Edge Hill property or the Rose Park property actually sits in my district, but it's extremely close to School Board Member Jeannie Cooper Walker's district. So we've been in a lot of communication with Belmont, with community members, community partners, kind of on both sides of this. To give some more background, I think there are community members who are upset with the idea that we would, quote unquote, allow Belmont to build a building on our property. And I believe not this past November, but November 2018, this lease was actually added to a consent agenda. And I think I'm hoping that was just kind of an oversight, that it was added to the consent and we didn't have open discussion on the board floor. And so I think that's where some of our troubles began. Now, if you talk to some Edge Hill members, they trace this back a few years. They trace it even back further to 2007, some different conversations that Belmont was having with Metro Parks. So there's a bit of controversy in their minds there. And we've been meeting with them. Council member Berkeley Allen has met with them. I believe Kobe Sledge has, Quante Toombs. I mean, a few of us have just been meeting with them fairly consistently, but this has been a lot to take in with the back and forth around the lease agreement and different verbiage and making sure that we acquiesce, or that we ask Belmont to acquiesce to some of the community's needs or requests. But then you do have other community members that are actually excited about this potential facility, because if you've ever played baseball or softball like I did, you know that batting cages are not the same as a batting facility. Batting cages are only admissible, or you're only admitted to use those when weather is good. You know, when it's raining, when it's storming, when it's cold or too hot, it's just a totally different experience. So you do have young people in the community, families in the community that are excited about the potential and want this partnership with Belmont to continue. But I do think we wanted to have this open conversation to make sure that, well, one, I guess I should back up a bit. I originally requested 2 weeks ago that we have just an update, because I wanted my colleagues to get an update. I knew that Jeannie and I had heard a lot from the community, but I also knew that the other 7 of you all really had not. So I wanted you to have time to read through the documents, to ask your questions, and then to go back to either your constituents or constituents that you knew in the Edge Hill area and see what their idea of this was, to see if they were in agreement or not. And then I found out that this was going to be added for a vote. So I reached back out to community members on both sides of the argument and asked them to just send us their information, send us their questions, their statements, if they wanted something right on the board floor, because I think it's important for community members to feel comfortable with what's happening and with what our governmental processes are. So I've heard that there are at least a couple of statements that a few of you all would like to read, and I would love to hear those and get those on the record. But I do think it's important that the different questions about the MOU and the specifics be addressed, and that once we feel comfortable, we either, that we move forward in some way. But I just really wanted to go on the record and wanted to be noted that there are community members on both sides that present arguments that really do pull at your heartstrings and that make you realize that we need to just have more conversation here. But I tend to be of the thought that MNPS property belongs to students, that we're going to always do what's best for students when it comes to using our property. So I appreciate that we've been hearing from families about what they want for their children, and that, I've actually been able to hear from a few students myself who idolize Mookie Betts or who cannot wait to begin their baseball career, and the idea that this might give them the opportunity. So before I go into further remarks, it would be great to maybe have some specific questions that any of my colleagues have, and then once we have questions, maybe go into remarks that I know the community has asked us that we talk through. Thank you.
Ms. Rowe? Can you hear me? Are you muted?
I am. Yes, Sarah. You have the floor, Mr. Thorper. Thanks.
I want to thank Ms. Buggs for her opening remarks. I'm going to be relatively candid here. I have a really sour taste in my mouth from this experience, and I think that is shared by some of my colleagues here today. And so when I think about how we got to this point nearly 2 years later, and this is still creating a considerable amount of heartburn for lots of different folks, from Belmont to the Edge Hill community to board members to personnel, I recognize that there were unforced errors on everybody's part. There were some oversights, and in fact, I think there was some lack of thoughtfulness around approaching this. And so I think my first issue that I want to raise is that this was put on the consent agenda in November of 2018 with no notice given to Ms. Buggs or to myself or any other board member, which is, I will take full responsibility. I should have looked much more closely at that. I think Ms. Buggs would agree. It's on us that we didn't pull it out and we didn't pay attention to it. But at the same time, I think we are counting on district leadership to notify us when there is a project of this scope in a community where there are already really tense relationships between the parties involved. And so the fact that we were not notified, nor was the community notified, and it was just placed on consent without any conversation, any community engagement of any sort, knowing the fraught relationship that Belmont has, I think this kind of move only reinforces why there's mistrust between Belmont and the community. And so MNPS owns a fair bit of the blame for getting to this point. And so we passed this contract, right? This deal, and then sort of trouble ensued. We also gave incorrect advice to Belmont, and they went ahead and started digging and pouring cement without Metro approval. And so we've had a little bit of a comedy of errors. I wish it was a comedy. It is not funny, by the way. So here we are 2 years later with lots of really thoughtful folks trying to bring closure and bring reconciliation here, including Councilwoman Allen and lots of community members who have shown up to many meetings and really tried to be thoughtful in their engagement. But the fact remains that we're still at a place where this is creating a lot of heated emotion. And so, if I were to speak candidly here, this is my own opinion, if I were to think about putting something on a school property in Edge Hill for the benefit of the community, I don't think a batting cage would be the first thing I came up with. I think that would be further down the list. And so when I think about something that benefits the families of Edge Hill, I'm not sure a batting cage is a priority. However, I'm not an athlete, and I recognize that this is a project that inspires and gives hope to lots of different folks. And so, my questions then become less around the motives of Belmont and more around the actual implementation of this contract, should we pass it. And so I have questions for a variety of folks. And I know that, we may not have all of those answers today, and we may need to get those before we move forward. But I am a little concerned about the language around scheduling time in the batting cage for MNPS or community members. And there is language in there around 6-month notice. And I've talked to some baseball coaches today in MNPS who feel like that is an unrealistic expectation. And so there is language around the ability to negotiate within this, sooner than 6 months if it works with Belmont's schedule. And so a little concerned about that. I think anything going forward will require, at least I will require, a really good reporting on how much MNPS and or community partners or Edge Hill community members are using it. I think that is something that is a non-negotiable for me. I'm curious about the language around this $35,000. It's called a lease/grant. I'd love some clarification. Is it a grant or is it a lease? Does anybody have an answer to that?
So this is Melissa again. It is a lease agreement because we are leasing Metro's property, but the payment is structured as a grant.
So what's the distinction?
I'm sorry?
What's the distinction then between those two things?
So typically a lease payment would just go into our operating budget without any restrictions, and we could use it how we needed to. as a grant payment, it does have sort of these restrictions on it that we are using it for the community with the after-school programs at the batting cage, Rose Park.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. And so I'm assuming that, because, you know, grants can be ended. And so I want to make sure we're not in territory here where they can say, well, we're going to go ahead and conclude this grant. This is a lease up until the end of this, the terms of the agreement. Is that right?
Correct. So the payment would continue so long as the lease continued.
Okay. And so I want to call on our colleague Jennifer Bell, who's on here, who's over extended learning, and I'd love to know what can you get for $35,000 in the land of extended learning and community? What do you imagine is going to happen with that $35,000 to benefit the Edge Hill community?
Yes, thank you. This is Jennifer Bell, Director of Extended Learning Programs for Metro Schools. With $35,000, we generally can support a school for a calendar school year, serving upwards to approximately 120 days. In that, we can utilize the funds for after-school tutoring, paying the exception rate for certified teachers, as well as enrichment programs and after-school transportation. In the case of this $35,000, we would be able to sustain teacher staff at one of these locations for the duration of a school year, as well as support with some supplemental busing.
You can do all that for $35,000?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you know how many kids that would support in general, or would support an existing program? Is that right?
So on average, our sites that serve the state range for a student per cost is $1,200 per year per student.
Okay, so there you go.
So that's an average state calculator, yes.
We're talking 25 to 30 kids, right?
Yes, ma'am. We generally do for less than $1,200, but the state average is $1,200 per student.
And so do you see this serving children who live in Edge Hill or children who attend school in the Edge Hill community?
This will be utilized at one of the 4 locations, either Carter Lawrence, Rose Park, the batting cages, or Easley Center. We have been in discussion about ensuring that we are looking at our schools that have the larger percentage of zone students in the Edge Hill community.
Okay. I appreciate your work there, Ms. Bell. Thank you.
Thank you.
And so my other question is around this use of the second floor. And so it's my understanding that the second floor is still in the plan, and that is considered office space. Is that correct for Belmont? Can somebody help me with that?
Mark North, do you want to respond to that question, please?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for the question. It's my understanding that the second floor will have some office space, also some locker facility, but also a conference room, meeting room that our students and our programs will be allowed to use, and with scheduling with Belmont.
Okay. And Mark, can I ask you another question? So I know you know a lot about athletics. We don't have Mr. Sanders on here who's over athletics, so I'm gonna bug you for this. Are there community baseball programs in the Edge Hill community? Are there community groups that would use this batting facility?
Well, I'm sure our high school teams will. Are there youth baseball, that sort of thing? Right. I don't know completely, but it is. They certainly won't use it if it's not there. So there are opportunities there.
Okay. Okay. And so I just want to reiterate that it would have been super duper to have this conversation in November of 2018 and not in August of 2020. So I'm going to pass the floor back to Ms. Frooke. Thanks.
Hi. So we have Ms. Spearing has some questions, and then I believe Dr. Gentry is next.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to say to Jeannie that we received the consent agenda 5 days before the meeting, And it's my understanding that that is notification. When we receive the consent agenda, it's our job as board members to study that. And if we have any questions, we have 5 days to ask those questions. Belmont has been a good partner.
Ms. Spearing, I believe we've lost you. It seems to be muted.
Okay, did you hear any of that? Did you? I'm sorry.
I so noted about 5-day notification. Thank you.
Okay. All right. I lost you after you talked about Belmont being a good partner.
Okay, thank you. This is a win-win situation, I think, for Metro Schools, for our students, for the community. I appreciate the updated MOU that has been, the changes that have been made over the last few years, the community engagement that has taken place. This building will eventually belong entirely to MNPS. I just think that's wonderful. And Ronnie Greer is a previous council member and a friend of mine. He lives in the Edge Hill area, and he was raised in this area. He attended school, and he has asked me to read a letter. Dear board members, I write to you to ask that you approve the request made by Belmont University to complete the construction of the batting facility at Rose Park Middle School. Having grown up in the Edge Hill community, I believe the structure will be a great benefit to my neighborhood. It could help our kids develop skills that might translate to a lucrative future, like that of Marcus Lynn Betts. In case you are not a baseball fan, Mookie Betts is a professional baseball right fielder for the Los Angeles Dodgers. He previously played for the Boston Red Sox. Mookie is a product, of MNPS. He just signed a contract for a whooping $65 million. If the board approves this MOU, MNPS students will potentially experience great benefits by having an enclosed facility for students to improve their skills in baseball and also golf. MNPS will gain a $6.5 million facility for its use for future kids without any cost to the district. Contrary to what you may have been told, Belmont has been an exceptional community partner, and this will continue, given that the university assumes all costs associated with the facility, plus an annual contribution of $35,000 to help with academic programming at the facility. Ronnie says that he is a member of the organization called the Boys Incorporated, and we are committed and we'll commit our time to ensure that kids from our old neighborhood will have organized and structured time at the facility. He ends with, please approve this request. Thank you in advance for your consideration in this matter. And signed, Ronnie Greer, formal councilman, 17th District, Edge Hill community. I am in full support of this, and I know that Dr. Battle is, and I'm going to support what Dr. Battle supports and what this community appears to support from what I've heard. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Spearing. Dr. Gentry, did you have questions?
No, I literally, actually, I do have one question, and I apologize. I lost connection for a minute. So Ms. Walker raised a question about grant/lease. So I guess if I were to put this in simple terms, we're allowing them to lease the property in terms of a grant. And so I'm just wondering if we're setting a precedent, because we lease other properties to charter schools and other organizations. Are we setting the precedent that a grant can be offered up as the form of lease payment, meaning it's kind of strange, right? They're asking us for the use of property, and I'm not opposed to the grander and bigger picture of things, but like Ms. Walker, I think the devil's in the details. So I'm just concerned about whether or not, allowing them to tell us, we're giving them the ability to use our property, but their payment has conditions. So it seems a little strange to me. And so if someone can help me understand, number one, is that normal? And number two, are we potentially setting a precedence for other entities that lease properties from us?
So Dr. Gentry, this is Melissa again. I would not call this the normal arrangement for the lease agreements that I've seen with MNPS, but I do think that this is a unique lease arrangement because of the community's involvement and desires. And so structuring it this way seemed to address some of their concerns. With regard to it setting a precedent, I could certainly see others asking to do this type of agreement, but it would need to be done with the board's approval. And again, I think that there are unique circumstances here that necessitated the agreement being structured this way.
So, and I would only push back on that a little bit, Ms. Roberge, to say the circumstances aren't unique. I think the level of how vocal people are, right? So we've leased properties to entities before that the communities have had problems with, right? So whether we've allowed charter schools to use the properties or whatever, whatever the case may have been. So what this sounds like is that allowing this to be a grant payment was an attempt to appease some of the community's concerns about what's in it for me, so to speak. So I think that that's going to be a question that gets asked in the future. So we just need to be cautious about how we're moving forward with this arrangement unless we're prepared to have this conversation with every community that has concerns about a lease agreement that we're entering into.
I have a question. This is Frida Player Peters. Is it correct in historical knowledge of this situation that this was initially started with Metro Parks and then it came over to our school, come to be part on the school property, and we somewhat inherited this this situation, for lack of a better word? Can someone in administration or Ms. Robert answer that, please?
I unfortunately don't have the historical knowledge of how it has worked in the past with regards to the interplay between parks and MNPS.
Mark North, can you come on for just a moment and let us know if you can speak to the historical context, please?
Yeah, there is at Rose Park, the park owned by the Parks Department. There are several facilities that have been part of an agreement with Belmont for several years that include track, baseball field, softball field, that sort of thing. And initially, they were looking at putting this facility on the park property. Now, for whatever reason, and I don't know the details, it didn't work out. And so, yes, there is a connection to the park that is next door, that's between our two schools, Rose Park Middle School and Carter Lawrence Elementary School.
And initially with that, did the MOU came based from the initial discussions before it came over to our jurisdiction? Do we know that? And that's unique part of the grant lease issue, or we don't know, or if we don't know, that's fine.
Right. I mean, I don't know.
Different stories.
I never reviewed the whatever was in the works with the Parks Department. There was some mention of extending Saturday hours at the community center in some of the initial drafts. That's obviously something that we can't do. We don't have authority to do, but that Parks would. And so that was, that obviously was taken out by the, for, to get to us for something that for the school system. So is there, did it initially start, did some of the language start there? I don't know for sure, but I don't know if that answers your question, but
okay,
that's the best I can do.
No, understood. Thank you. I think that's all I have for the moment.
That's it. That's all you need to.
Thank you. I have some questions, and I'll just say that I've spent an extraordinary amount of time doing my due diligence on this vote. I have received quite a number of phone calls. I've spoken with community members and the people who are involved with the athletics in that area. I've spoken with all of the current council members, a former council member, the administration. So I've spent a lot of time trying to understand in all of the details of this MOU. And I do have a couple of questions for the administration. First of all, I am curious about what percentage of time will Belmont use for the batting cage specifically and also for the building as a whole. And I believe that's written into the MOU. But could someone speak to that?
I can to some extent. The scheduling, we will be equal priority. We're going to work together to schedule it. Now, they are responsible for custodial work and maintenance, and there's even a provision for shared office space on the first floor with MNPS and Belmont. So whether they will have someone in the building, what percentage of time that will be, I don't know. But there's equal priority for scheduling the batting facility, the facility, and there is reasonable opportunity for access daytime hours and evening hours for MNPS. That's written into the contract.
Okay, so I was told at some point, I thought that MNPS would take priority on scheduling needs, and that Belmont would be using the batting facilities less than 20% of the time. Is that not correct?
That is 20% of the time is not written into the lease. I can't speak to how that is split up, but that sounds like a reasonable estimate.
Okay. And then Jeannie's also brought up scheduling. And all of these questions go to whether this will truly benefit the students and the children that live in that neighborhood. I think that's the primary concern I'm hearing over and over again from those who are interested in our vote. And so I'm just trying to ensure that MNPS students and the neighborhood students really are going to get a priority for using the facilities and for the needs if it's going to be our facility, our MNPS facility eventually. So the scheduling, you're saying that the scheduling is just first come, first serve. Is that the arrangement? I'm not sure what you mean by first come, first serve. We're going to work together to make sure that our teams and our students have access to the facility, and we are guaranteed reasonable opportunities for access. Now, it's up to us to take advantage of those opportunities, and one thing that's built into the agreement is reporting at the end of how we're using it, which will keep us on track, right, and watching to be sure that we are taking advantage of those opportunities and scheduling them.
And Amy, I'll offer
Hang on, Melissa, 1 second. I just wanted to speak to the specific clause that's in the agreement, just to bring some clarity here, that Belmont's use should be subject to the requirement that Belmont's use is scheduled at least 6 months in advance. MNPS-sponsored uses shall be given equal priority in scheduling. If there is a scheduling conflict that does not involve an intercollegiate event, then MNPS shall be given priority if MNPS is scheduling more than 6 months in advance. And so there is language in the agreement where MNPS does take priority if there is a need for MNPS.
Okay, thank you.
And Melissa, that might have been what you were going to echo as well. If not, please feel free to come back on.
That was exactly it.
Okay. And then one last question. Going back to the second floor, I think what I heard in the response to Jeannie's question there is that we're going to be just sharing the second floor space. And does MNPS have any priority on that? And then one person I spoke with believed that Belmont would be reserving only one room upstairs for their continued use. Is that correct? Or is it just sort of, we are all taking turns scheduling the facilities?
So Amy, this is Melissa. The activities and scheduling portion of the lease agreement doesn't specifically call out the second floor. And so we will be working with them to schedule access to the building as well. But I think as Mark said, we anticipate sharing.
We anticipate what? I'm sorry.
Sharing.
Okay. So I guess the concern was that Belmont was sort of building this really with the intent of just creating new offices, and we would have access just to the batting cage or minimal space within the building. But you were saying that is not true, according to the agreement, right?
Correct. And the agreement provides, with regard to the first floor, that Belmont shall construct office space on first floor of the improvements for the shared use of Belmont's building supervisors, MNPS, and their partners. So MNPS will have to the building.
Okay, and I guess so. The final, this was my last question. I've got one more. This is an enforceable contract. So if Belmont does not live up to its promises, this is something that we can enforce. Because I guess there's some concerns about a previous contract with Belmont from 2007. And I really am not privy to that contract, or I've been told different things about how that contract was fulfilled. But in any event, this is an enforceable contract that we will be able to enforce.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Well, that's all I have. Does anyone else have any other questions?
Madam Chair, this is Rachel Ann.
Okay, I heard Ms. Elrod, and then who else? And then
Fran.
Okay, so Ms. Elrod, then Ms. Bush.
Okay. So looking at section 5, which is what we kind of are all focusing on, this activities and scheduling section. Inside of it, it talks about how, let me make sure I have the right terminology. Belmont will share and construct office space on the first floor for improvements for the shared use by Belmont's building supervisor. So I want to make sure that I understand one of the responsibilities of this building supervisor. And so that is, this building supervisor would not be paid for by us, is paid for by Belmont. And that one of the responsibilities is to be in charge of this scheduling and letting us know if there is a conflict and how this priority is going to take place. And that's not something we're internally having to organize or spend our own operational dollars on.
That is, I think that's accurate. That is an accurate interpretation of that language.
So Ms. Roberge, that also is saying something?
I was just agreeing. I'm just late to hit the unmute button.
That's okay. That's almost always my life on this too. So I wanted to make sure that we knew that that would be someone that would be able to help make sure that we're managing the fairness of usage. And I also want to make sure, I guess, in response to Amy's questions and Jeannie's, just to make sure it's exceptionally clear, is MNPS, that building supervisor, will be monitoring the availability to MNPS of not only the batting facilities, but also the other, we'll say, administrative offices like the conference room and the locker rooms and the other adjacent facilities that are a part of this campus.
Correct.
Okay. Okay. I think that's all I have for right now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Bush?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right. Okay, great. This question is, my first question is from Melissa. In regards to the lease/grant, do you see any potential problematic setbacks in the future of this particular agreement, just for the record?
I don't. I also don't profess to have a crystal ball, but as we sit here today, I do not see any issues with the agreement.
Okay, great. Secondly, I would like to, for the record, I want to make sure that my reasons for supporting this particular opportunity for our kids is stated and noted. I just remember when I was living in Preston Taylor Projects. And of course, that's here in Nashville, and it's still called Preston Taylor. And I remember when we first got the community center built in the heart of the community. And I just remember how important that played a role for all of us that lived there, all the kids that lived there, that they had a place to go and be proud of and be able to have after school activities and to be fed. So I am really, really excited about the opportunities of this partnership with Belmont. I do believe that our students will benefit tremendously. This community is going to see something that they've never seen before, and kids that deserve equity, they will definitely get something that they will definitely be proud of, to see and to be a part of. And I'm really excited for these students. And I do believe that this facility is going to be a game changer for these students and MNPS. And I think that it's definitely not devil in the details, but I do think it's a WW, a win-win for the community and our students. So I am really excited about this opportunity, and I'm really looking forward to looking at these children that are going to be using this facility, not just for batting, for golf, for after school services. There are so many things that this facility is going to help utilize for our students in our community of Edge Hill. And I'm so excited about what's going to happen for this community. And lastly, just wanted to make sure that I just lost my train of thought. I was going good. So I just wanted to make sure that that was noted, that I was definitely, it was something else I was going to say. Now, if I think about it, I'll come back. But yes, I am in great support of this partnership. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Bush. Anyone else?
Me, Dr. Berthina Nabama-Kinney, I have a question real quick for you.
Yes.
So I have two questions. Thank you to Christian, Jenny, the council, and everyone who has done their due diligence and work on this project. I just have a couple of questions here. The first question is around maintenance. If we look at, I think, number 13 on the MOU, it discusses Metro being responsible for ground maintenance. Have we come up with a cost allocation for what that would entail to our district? And then the second question, I saw several emails and communication related to discriminatory practices that have been done with Belmont University. Have we looked at that to alleviate, to see how we can alleviate the potential of any type of discriminatory practices that may take place? Because we're talking about a private institution and a public school system.
Ms. Froh, this is David Prophet. I can answer the part about grounds. It will be part of Belmont's responsibility in that immediate area that the building is located to take care of the grounds. Outside of that, and you can see the so-called lease area in the document that was provided to you. Outside of that, it would be standard MNPS maintenance.
Is that maintenance that's currently occurring?
Grounds maintenance, yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Maintenance of the building itself will be by Belmont and at no cost to MNPS.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. And then on discriminatory practices, can someone address that, please?
Sure, this is Melissa. We would ensure that the building and use of the building was used in a constitutional manner. So as a governmental entity, if we allow our building to be used by one group, we can't say another group cannot use it based on their religion or their point of view, their speech, etc. We would not have any control over internal Belmont practices, which would be the same for any partner with MNPS.
Okay, has any of that wording or language been included within the MOU?
We do not have wording in the MOU that we would make sure that the building is used in a constitutional manner, but with collaborating on the scheduling, we would obviously make that a priority.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, Ms. Bush.
Yes, I remember. I remember what I wanted to ask. Okay, so are there any charges to our students or any charges for usage for meeting rooms or let's say a game, a college game, baseball game is going to be scheduled? Are there any costs to the students? Any cost?
There's no cost to use this facility. Now beyond that, I don't, I don't know whether your question goes beyond that. But there's no cost to our students to use this facility at any time.
Okay, and I think we had mentioned, and you may have not known the answer to this question about the youth. There are going to be some times that youth baseball will be interested in utilizing the facility. Do we have any comments around that? That would be an option for those little leaguers.
Depending on scheduling, the lease agreement would allow that.
Would there be a cost?
The lease agreement doesn't set out a cost. I don't know if there are other agreements that may set out a cost.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Any other questions or comments?
This is Bugs. I'm sorry.
That's all right. Ms. Bugs and then Dr. Gentry.
Thank you. I just had a quick one because Ms. Bush brought up something that I know has been discussed in the community meetings. We found out that actually, I think it's Hume Fogg's baseball team or maybe their softball team has been paying to use the Belmont batting facility that's currently at Fort Negley, and I think it's been at about $600 per season or $600 per year. I'm not really aware of, market value, but I think based on NCAA rules, they had to pay. But if this batting facility were to be built, they would no longer have to pay. Again, I played softball, so I remember going to batting cages and batting facilities, but many of them were fairly high dollar and many of them were outside of the city. But I just wanted to make sure that we noted that there has been a precedent where MNPS students have been paying, or MNPS schools have been paying Belmont to use a current facility, but that was based on NCAA rules. So just something to note.
Okay, Dr. Gentry?
Yes, I want to make a suggestion/question and then make a motion. So I think there's still a lot of questions that aren't answered. A lot of our responses have started off with I believe or I think. And I know that there's not a single person on here who doesn't want the WW, which I'm assuming doesn't mean Weight Watchers, but means win-win. So everybody wants the win-win, and everyone can see the ultimate benefit of having a facility of this caliber accessible to the community and accessible to our students. But again, I believe that there are still some questions that need to be clarified. So one thing I would ask, just to leverage to honor our commitment to equity, is to have Mr. Ashford Hughes, who sits now in that role for us for diversity and equity, to just review the agreement, see what any questions through that lens he may have that may need to be answered. Again, I still would like to get some clarity on whether the terminology for grant/lease is something that the board as a whole is comfortable with using. Again, given the fact that we lease properties all the time to other entities and organizations in other communities. With that, I would like to make a motion to defer.
Okay. We do have one more comment from Ms. Poopa Walker, or one more question rather.
Thank you.
Yes.
Just quickly, two quick questions. One is, do we know if there's some kind of catastrophic damage? Let's say there's a tornado that goes through Edge Hill and that building is damaged. Who's on the hook for the repairs for that? Is the insurance ours or theirs?
It would be their insurance.
Okay, to cover it. And the other question I have is, do we know if, let's say that, I don't know, there's times during the year where the batting cages are not being used. Does Belmont have the opportunity to rent out time on that and make money off of that?
That is not addressed in the lease agreement.
I don't know how my fellow board members feel about that. I think that's something worthy of discussion.
Okay. So we have a motion on the floor to defer, and is there a second? And then we can have more discussion.
I'll second it.
Okay. Is there any discussion?
Yes. Amy, it's Jill Spearing. Is Mr. Ashford Hughes on the line?
It's Spearing. I believe that he is caught up in something else right now, but we'll be happy to address questions that might come up for him.
Thank you. Has he had an opportunity to review this lease, to your knowledge?
We have viewed this through the equity lens. He has been involved with conversations. Of course, he came in on the back end of this, but it's really on us to make sure that we are providing equitable access to our students and making sure we're promoting it through our athletic programs to make sure it's used in a very equitable way.
Thank you.
I do have one comment on the deferral. If we do vote to defer and have a few more questions answered, I would just ask that we go ahead and take the vote with this board that's currently sitting. So that would be at the second meeting in August. Simply because I think it's unfair to dump a very controversial issue on new board members, and I say that speaking from experience because my first vote was over Great Hearts, and that was I believe the fifth vote on that particular issue, and I think we've all done our homework on this. This has been going on for years, and so if we do defer, I would just ask that we defer until the next meeting and then take a vote.
Ms. Frog, I would accept that as an amendment to the motion. I think that makes perfect sense.
Thank you, Dr. Gentry. And
Ms. Frog, yes, so I just want to make clear for the community and for those watching that after we vote, whenever we vote, whether it's tonight or tomorrow or in 2 weeks, that this still has to go before the council for 3 readings. So there will be an opportunity for public participation, and it's unfortunate that we have not been able to provide that opportunity, but at the very least, the community will be able to speak up to the council and continue to send us emails. So just want to make note of that.
This is free-to-player Peters. Why would it go for council for clarification?
They told me
in our budget.
So
it goes before because it involves real property.
Okay, makes sense. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ms. Frogue, if you don't mind, can I ask a quick question, clarifying question?
Absolutely.
With the motion that is out there, I just want to be clear around the deferment, potential deferment, and what clarity is needed for the board to take this up again.
And Dr. Battle, if it's just me, again, I'm just really uncomfortable with the grant/lease terminology. But if it's just me, you know, I can do whatever I need to do to keep it moving forward. If the other, you know, if that's the issue. But for me, that's the big piece of it. You know, just getting clarity on, again, access and scheduling and things of that nature. Just the process. I mean, I know there's the, you know, there's the thing and then there's the implementation, and it's the implementation that gets you. So I just want to make sure that there's comfort in our ability to kind of monitor what are the things in place to monitor the terms of the agreement. And I think Ms. Walker asked for, you know, regular updates. But again, that's my biggest concern is around the grants/lease terminology and how that can affect expectations of community members and this board in future lease agreements.
Okay, thank you for that. Go ahead, Melissa.
Dr. Gentry, I can check with my team at the legal department to see if there are other agreements like this within Metro and provide the board an update.
And thank you.
Distinctions.
Yeah, thank you for that, Melissa. And I just also want to point out that this also kind of goes to our agreement with regards to unrestricted funds. And I think Melissa might have spoken to this already, that based upon the community feedback, we wanted to make sure that the funds were restricted to stay in that community to serve those students. And I think that also speaks to the equity question. But Melissa, please feel free to follow up and provide any additional clarity to that question.
So don't get me wrong, Dr. Battle, I love it. I just don't want it to position us to position us uncomfortably for future. So it's really more about the go forward for me.
Thank you.
Dr. Battle, I have a question. Is there any reason that you would prefer not to defer this?
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. You know, the board approved the lease agreement and contract with Belmont to construct the batting facility back in 2019. Of course, we have revised the terms of the agreement. You know, for me, you know, given the board's previous approval of the lease agreement and contract, I recommend approval of the amended language, as it only serves to improve upon the original agreement. And so, you know, where I stand today, as I look at the amendments that have been made, I think they do strengthen our access to the facility and to expand our services to our MNPS students. And so, Jill, to answer your question, that's, you know, that's where I stand today as far as any recommendations or approvals with the space. Anything beyond that, I just wanted to be clear about what's required of our team so we can make sure that we're being efficient with time and energy to bring clarity to the board. And so any considerations beyond that is just simply making sure that we have the manpower and the eyes and ears on this agreement to bring clarity so that we can move forward.
Thank you, Dr. Battle.
All right, Ms. Player-Peters, did you have a question?
I guess a comment to address Dr. Battle's concern. I think there's been probably confusion, of course, by the initial genesis of this project, particularly coming from Metro, coming back to schools, and then going back, you know, then coming to deal with it, and then the process going through consent agenda. You know, looking through this, it's been kind of done in the lens of what Metro general government usually does in a private-public partnership. And so since we as a Board of Education, our governing structure and our governing mechanism is different from the way the Metro general government usually acts and does business, I think it's the main confusion between Dr. Gentry's point of setting her concern of setting a precedence, which is something that is more likely to happen naturally in Metro general government, where each individual's agreement is kind of taken in its own lens and its own sphere. And so she brings a valid point of the way we govern and the way we direct our business in setting a specific precedent that's unusual to the Board of Education, which is traditionally, I guess in a traditional practice within Metro government, brings an odd situation to us. And sorry, that phrase was not articulated in a better way. And so I think there's a little bit of clarification of I think through that. And I think Ms. Walker brought some, good points about leasing the space. And this kind of is clarification. So I think it'll just put people kind of at ease. I think, I love the idea of this. For me, I've been a student athlete, and I think it's important for student athletes to have facilities and use athletics as a way of even furthering their higher education. I know a lot of times initial things is to always go to the pros, but also athletics can be used to fund your academic education, particularly in a Division III, Division II level. That I think is awfully overlooked in how most student athletes pay for their education, knowing that they're not going to go on professional track just given to the odds, but use their athletic skills and talents to further their academic career in the secondary or post-secondary educational level. So I think just more clarification of that. I don't know if it would help to have someone from Belmont be invited to the next meeting to also to clarify their intentions of this and their goals and their sentiments to that. I think that'll also help just give clarification on some of the issues that's bringing forth to show that there is a level of transparency and of detail of some of the finer details that may not be addressed in the MOU, just because the MOU is more of a higher level document and not really a very detailed, 20-page document. And so I think hopefully that'll give you, Dr. Battle, I guess, a little bit better scope of, I think, I would say a slight confusion of the discussion of just getting clarification on details.
Ms. Brogue, if you'd like, Mr. Hughes is able to get his computer to connect. And if you'd like to come back to Ms. Spearing's question for him, he's available.
Okay.
Thank you. Yes, I was, my question was, has Mr. Hughes had an opportunity to review this lease?
Thank you for your question, Board Member Spearing. On the MNPS side, I have not been able to view this process. As Board Member Player has stated, I've seen it from the Metro government end, but not currently in this process on MNPS side.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions or comments?
Yes, this is Berthina Nabama-Kinney.
Yes.
For me, that was one of my main questions. So with that being said, I would feel more comfortable if we had an opportunity for Mr. Hughes to review that information and then give us his feedback moving forward.
Okay. Thank you. All right, so we have a motion to defer the vote until the second meeting in August, and we have a second. Dr. Severe, could you take the vote, please?
Dr. Gentry?
Aye.
Dr. Gentry votes aye. Ms. Elrod? Ms. Elrod?
Sorry, aye.
Ms. Elrod votes aye. Ms. Spearing?
Aye.
Ms. Spearing votes aye. Ms. Ndabama-Kinney? I think I heard an aye in there. Is that correct?
Yes.
Thank you. Dr. Ndabama-Kinney votes aye. Ms. Buggs?
I'm fine with this. Aye.
Ms. Buggs votes aye. Ms. Bush?
Aye.
Ms. Bush votes aye. Ms. Player-Peters?
Aye.
Ms. Player-Peters votes aye. Ms. Cooper-Walker?
Aye.
Ms. Cooper-Walker votes aye. Ms. Frogue?
Aye.
Ms. Frogue votes aye. Madam Chair, you have 9 ayes.
Okay, thank you. The deferment passes, and we'll bring this back up at our next meeting. All right, so now we will turn to the director's report, and Dr. Battle is going to present on the opening of schools. Dr. Battle?
All right, thank you, Board Chair Frogue. We're going to just switch over the slides here quickly. Okay, good evening, board members. For some of you, this is your first school reopening while you've been on the Board of Education. For others, this sadly will be your last. Given your experience, I'm sure all of you know that there are different significant challenges that we face on the first day and week back to school. We're a large machine that shuts down for more than 2 months each year and then ramps back up with new students, staff, and sometimes policies and procedures in place that require some getting used to. In that regard, this was no different. However, this was in fact the most unique reopening in MNPS history, with new challenges and new experiences for all of our staff and students. I hope this is not only the first, but also the last time we have to open in an all virtual environment. But altogether, I feel our teachers and support staff and principals did a tremendous job of executing on our plans to provide for the needs of all of our students and staff. I want to go ahead and acknowledge that I worked up into the last moments in preparation of our meeting this evening for providing you the most updated information to recap the opening of the 2020-21 school year. Thus, I'm acknowledging the limited time to provide this slide deck in advance. Again, an all virtual reopening was completely new for us this school year, but I am sure it will be rewarding. With that, I want to briefly go over some of the highlights of this first week back to school. Next slide, please. As most of you know, recruitment and retention of teachers has been a struggle for our district, and we often start the year with hundreds of vacancies across all of our schools. This year, under the leadership of Dr. Chris Barnes and our Human Resources Department, we have significantly reduced the number of schools with vacancies to start the year. This is important in providing an equitable and high-quality education to all students. As we start the school year, I'm pleased to report that 98 schools have 0 vacancies, 28 schools have just 1 vacancy, 11 schools have 2 vacancies, and just 4 schools have 3 or more vacancies. And a couple more good numbers I want you to hear. In the 2019-2020 school year, we started with 199 certificated vacancies throughout the district. This year, we were at 60. Of those, last year, we had 159 classroom-based vacancies, while this year it was 48. That's the start of the year, but we have to continue pushing to ensure we have the culture and climate that teachers want so that we can retain those teachers throughout the school year and recruit more to the district. Our enrollment office is always busy before and during the start of the school year, and this was no different. We did face new challenges in the COVID-19 environment that required appointments, but we also made the process easier by allowing for many of the forms and applications to be submitted online instead of having to be done in person. As you can see, our enrollment centers were quite busy meeting with, talking to, and assisting thousands of families last week. Our enrollment numbers are continuing to increase daily, and as of today, we're looking at 85,076 students in both district-run and charter schools. Now, those are preliminary numbers that always shift and change at the start of the school year, and so we'll continue to refine our data to get accurate counts in the coming weeks. One note of focus has been our kindergarten enrollment. Our registration normally starts in earnest during the same period when we're closed due to COVID-19. And so the process has been a bit more challenging for families. We are continuing to do outreach to families of students slated for kindergarten and expect those numbers to continue to rise as more registrations are processed. Next slide, thank you. The key component of starting virtually is, of course, technology. All of our students need access to computers and the internet if they're going to participate in virtual learning. We started off this process anticipating a need of about 32,000 based on previous surveys. However, that need or desire for devices has increased a great deal. We have provided nearly 41,000 devices to families, with more going out today and tomorrow to fill new requests as they come in. We've scoured our buildings to find every usable device we have on hand to ensure students have access, and we have been fulfilling the needs of schools as new students are identified. One bit of great news is that today we received a shipment of approximately 4,000 laptops from Dell as a part of our CARES Act order, which should ensure that as new needs are identified or if machines break down, we have ample replacements and can continue making progress towards our one-to-one district throughout the coming months. We have also deployed more than 10,000 hotspots to families who need internet access. This is out of our supply of 17,000, so we should have plenty left over if new families come forward asking for help accessing Wi-Fi. The first day saw some challenges with access to our platforms caused by a network bottleneck, but that was addressed in less than an hour after being identified, and we have not had any system-wide issues. Again, we have not had any system-wide issues. Of course, there are individual challenges and problems that occur, and our technology team has been working hard to troubleshoot those as more families and staff become comfortable with the virtual learning environment. For some families, the meal they receive from school is the only meal they receive all day. We were very mindful of this reality from the first day we closed schools back in March due to COVID-19. Over the summer, we provided meals through the Seamless Summer Options program at sites identified as qualifying for the program. This was done through 3 preparation sites and distributed through 16 school sites and 40 bus stops in Davidson County. As we started on August 4th, we greatly expanded our efforts to include 141 school cafeteria preparation and distribution sites and the use of 373 buses to deliver meals at regular bus stops. This has greatly reduced geographic barriers to accessing meals. While the Summer Meal Options program was available to any child 18 and under, federal rules require that each meal distributed is tracked to a student that attends MNPS. Breakfast meals are no cost to all students. Lunch meals are no cost for community eligibility provision students or those qualifying for the free and reduced lunch program, or families can purchase lunch for $3 if they don't attend a CEP school or qualify for the FRL, free and reduced lunch program. We are continuing to get the word out about this program and look to see the number of meals taken by students to increase as families get into the swing of the new school year. As a district, we are committed to serving every child every day. Our exceptional education students deserve a high quality education just like everyone else, and we're giving it to them. So, as we've adapted to the virtual learning environment, we've been working on a continuous learning individualized plan, or CLIP. You've heard about this on a number of occasions, for every child. There are 8,597 students who need a CLIP, and so far 4,817 have been submitted, with 3,780 to be completed by August 17th. This is a huge effort by our exceptional education team, because what is not widely known is that our staff did not officially return to the 2020-21 school year until July 30th. So in less than 2 short weeks, they have made great strides to ensure we serve all of our students. The CLIP does not replace a student's IEP or 504 plan. Instead, it organizes how those services will be implemented in the virtual space. We are offering virtual teletherapy services for students, including speech and language, occupational therapy, and physical therapy. As a reminder, MNPS started offering virtual therapy back in June, and we have expanded our services into the new school year. When the decision was made in July that all instruction would continue virtually, an RFP, or request for proposal, was released for core content. The focus of the RFP was to identify content that is most effective during virtual learning and that can also be utilized when school returns in person. The RFP was released and 3 curriculum options were chosen. As with any contracts, the Board of Education must approve the award of these contracts. So based upon your approval tonight, we're able to proceed. The intent of the RFP is to provide all teachers with access to a virtual curriculum that will assist in providing services based on alternate content standards. The curriculum is intended to improve access and support to students, but instruction must occur regardless. Our Exceptional Education Department hosted office hours each day last week to support our exceptional education team, as well as providing district in-service trainings, coaching supports, live sessions, PD over the summer and ongoing, a playbook that clearly identifies roles and responsibilities for our exceptional education team and paraprofessionals in the virtual environment. We have also convened a team of our leaders comprised of various stakeholders focused on expanding supports and services for students who have difficulty accessing virtual learning. And our C&I team have met with our Exceptional Education Family Advisory Council, or EEFAC, chairs every week to problem solve. For teachers who provide instruction based on alternate content standards, there are specific trainings and supports set up for them that are targeted in the area of academics, social emotional learning, and behavioral supports that help with the delivery of effective, evidence-based instruction. Our paraprofessionals, along with our teachers, will continue to provide support via whole group, small group, and one-to-one sessions. Our commitment to equity extends to our English learners as well. Our EL population continues to grow, with 132 languages now spoken in our schools. And I'll say that again, 132 languages now spoken in our MNPS schools. We've enrolled more than 1,400 new EL students already for this new school year, and we expect to enroll another 600 kindergarten English learners over the next few weeks. This will bring our overall EL population to about 16,800 students. Our Family Information Center team has been working extremely hard lately to provide information and answer questions from our families. Last week alone, they made 5,124 parent contacts, provided information and assistance to more than 1,400 families about virtual learning, and helped with more than 1,000 family portal activation codes and password resets. Whenever you make a major change like this, you're going to have a lot of challenges in terms of making sure everyone has the right information. The Family Information Center has helped us go a long way toward filling those gaps. Our technology and information team has also stepped up to ensure students and staff have access to the support they need in order to navigate their devices and the virtual learning environment. We saw between 250 and 350 student calls and more than 150 teacher calls each day last week, and the help desk answered their questions and guided them through our processes. We also recently opened a new helpline for those who are in need of translation. I'll close with something that Ray Covey, the executive principal of McGavick Elementary, said in an email she sent me yesterday. She said and wrote, "I'm writing to share with you my experience as I walk the halls of McGavick this morning, where more than half of my staff are working from their classrooms. Just by listening, you would never know we were virtual. All I heard was the joyous sound of children's voices and laughter. It literally brought tears to my eyes. That is music to my ears. That's the sound we hope to hear ringing through every building. That's why we do the work we do." And lastly, I would like to officially welcome Dr. Mason Bellamy, our Chief of Academics and Schools, to his first opening with MNPS, and he is joining us on during the board meeting tonight. He is already doing tremendous work supporting our schools and employees. So welcome again to you, Dr. Bellamy. Thank you so much for giving me space and opportunity to provide an update for you tonight regarding our opening of the school year. So Chair Frog, I will now turn it back over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Battle. Thank you for the presentation and welcome, Dr. Bellamy. Just want to say, as a parent, I want to thank you for a successful opening of schools virtually. I know it was a huge lift and a big challenge, and I know there were a few hiccups, but it seems that this week is going smoothly, and just want to say thank you. So I know there's going to be some questions, and I'm going to open the floor to questions and comments at this time.
Madam Chair.
Ms. Buggs.
Thank you. I mean, Dr. Battle, I don't know how you've done it. I mean, I know we've been getting some mixed reviews, but I just want to reiterate the idea that we didn't cause this pandemic. If it were up to MNPS, we would not be virtual, but we know that whatever adults do is what mandates what happens to children. It mandates what will happen with our schools. So we're following city mandates or city guidelines by going virtual, and I appreciate the thought that you all have put into it, and I really do appreciate all the hard work that everyone involved. I mean, parents, staff, students, central office. I appreciate all of those things, all the work that you all have put into making sure that our children get the best of us. So I want to make sure that we acknowledge the idea that this was not by choice but by force, and that we are literally doing the best we could with the pennies we've been asked to rub together. I will forever stand on my high horse, and I will forever say that had the city and the state listened to us for the last, I don't know, decade or two, to say that public schools have not received and have never received what we've asked for or what we needed, that they're finally starting to hear it. Parents are frustrated because they're beginning to see what teachers battle with every single day. Parents are frustrated because their children are now at home, and we've said for years that schools are not daycares, but at the same time we realize that our society has been set up in a way that would suggest the only way parents can go out into the world and make a living for their families is by sending their children somewhere, aka school. So I think there are a lot of nuances to the different conversations, but I don't want it to ever be suggested that MNPS has not done everything that they could. I mean, so I really do appreciate the work that you all have done. Yesterday morning, I spent about an hour with a friend and colleague of mine, Catherine Green, who works she's an elementary teacher at DuPont. And I hope she doesn't mind me throwing her name out there, but I was able to kind of see some of her connectivity issues. And just, so I think we all see and we all know, and I mean, she said from her mouth that she appreciates that Dr. Battle is in the position that she's in, and she appreciates the hard work that's gone into this. And she knows she's not telling you anything that you don't already know. But baby, them Dell computers are working. Not to the level that we would have asked them to, right? Those old Dell computers. So I appreciate that at least we have new Dell computers that are either on the way or that have already been deployed. But a lot of this is just outside of our control. So you all are doing what you can control, but some of this is just beyond our scope of reasonability, right? So that is just something to note, that people are still having connectivity issues here or there, but it's often based on whatever Wi-Fi connection they have or the type of device they have, whether it's MNPS provided or not. But specifically talking about exceptional education, I did have a question, and then just one more comment. The 4,817 exceptional ed CLIP accommodations that were submitted, is that for the total number of exceptional ed students we have identified, or that's all that's been submitted so far?
That's the total number that's been submitted thus far.
Gotcha. Okay, so there may be families who just have not submitted theirs yet, but once they are submitted, they will be updated and a plan will be developed and deployed to them.
Yes, and I'm glad you asked this question because our exceptional education team, many of them came back even before the start of the school year to get started on this process. And it's a very complex process. This is not the teacher by themselves transferring the needs from the IEP into the CLIPs to help set students up for success in the virtual environment. They have to collaborate with other teachers, psychologists, parents. Like, there are many individuals who have to be a part of that conversation to make sure we're all in agreement and aware of what those services are going to look like in the virtual environment. And so many of those that have not been completed are in progress. We just need to make sure that we have everyone who needs to have eyes and ears on the clip, around the table, on a Teams call or phone call, to make sure we're all clear about what it's going to look like moving forward. So if for any reason a parent hasn't heard from their exceptional education teacher or case manager, please reach out. But more than likely, they have already been in contact and are working towards getting the clip transferred over.
I really appreciate it.
Transferred over to the clip.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. And I mean, for anyone who's ever dealt with a cumulative file or an IEP updated file, I mean, there is just a lot that goes into it, because accommodations typically span across a few different subjects. But personally, I would like to say that, both, I have two dads in the district, one that works in maintenance and one that's a paraprofessional at Jerry Baxter. But my stepmom is also a one-to-one parapro. She's a one-to-one aide. And I've been in communication with them just to kind of add to my perspective also. And I appreciate that their principals are acknowledging that this is, going to be different than they've ever done before, but they've been tasked with, following up and reaching out to students that have any kind of IEP, or let's say that an S-team process was started, this past year, making sure that they're using parapros to follow up. So I think I'm saying this selfishly, because I've heard in the community the suggestion that teachers aren't working because they're not in schools, or parapros aren't working because they're not in the building. And it made my blood boil just a little bit, because I know how hard our educators are working. But I appreciate the fact that every staff member has been tasked with supporting students in some way. And people are not just asleep at the wheel. We definitely have kinks to work out, but, that will be fleshed out. And I can't wait to hear some of the questions and other discussion that we have the rest of the night. But I appreciate the update, Dr. Battle.
Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Spearing.
Thank you. Dr. Battle, thank you for this presentation. And I also want to say welcome to Dr. Mason Bellamy. And I know that Dr. Bellamy and you are listening to feedback on a daily basis from principals and teachers. And I want to thank you for that, because I know adjustments are being made to make this process more easy to handle. And it's not been an easy process to go completely virtual. So thank you so much for your work and your team's work.
Thank you, Ms. Spearing. And yes, the team is hard at work. We're constantly in conversations, getting feedback and making adjustments as we need to. And we knew that it wouldn't be perfect right out of the gate, which is why we structured the start of the school year the way that we did. But we've been able to work out many of those kinks, thanks to great teamwork and everyone being willing to give us honest feedback.
Okay, Ms. Elrod has a question.
Thank you. Okay, so can we go back to the slide about exceptional ed students? Is that possible?
Yes, Jamal, can you pull back up the slide deck?
I think it was the slide before that, or maybe two slides before that.
Just one before, if you go back one slide. Thank you.
Okay, so my questions are in response to mostly exceptional ed students. So I understand that this is a large number of clips that were submitted, particularly because they are a collaborative environment. Like they have, not only do those exceptional ed teachers have to speak to the other general ed teachers and the other subjects, depending on the grade of the student, but also within the parent as well. And there's back and forth on that as well. So that is a large number of clips submitted. My concern is with the actual services that are provided within those clips. So my concern is within some of the clips, and I will speak, I guess, personally on our clip, there are some services that we originally had intended to be provided and then are no longer able to be provided, whether that be a recording or a paraprofessional and those kinds of things. So I'm curious, if we have this number of clips that have been submitted, what is our process of going back and reviewing them to make sure that what we thought was going to be an doable or appropriate assistance is still available to those families and that student? So are we reviewing these? How often are we reviewing them? And are we going to continue to manage them as new technologies are found or new services are provided?
Yeah, and I'll begin to answer your questions, and I'm going to ask Debbie to come on as I am speaking. With regards to the paras and the exceptional education teachers, those employees are still assigned to our students. So they will still continue to provide the either whole group, small group, one-to-one sessions with the students that are on their caseload. With recordings, we will be providing recordings and uploading those to Schoology as we have previously communicated. What we have shared with our school teams is that we ran into some challenges regarding FERPA, and we wanted to make sure that we provided them clear guidance around what could be posted in Schoology and how to go about doing that, quite simply to make sure they're not having to do double work. We wanted to be really efficient in the step-by-step guides that we're going to be providing them. And so they've already received one updated communication from the district with regards to expectations for this week and likely next week. But we're also providing them here very soon some options of what they can utilize to make sure that they are recording their lessons and uploading those into Schoology. So we will continue with those recordings. In the meantime, they are posting course content, videos, other supports to their Schoology site to ensure that students are getting the scope of what was covered in that daily lesson. And then with that, I'm going to ask Debbie to come on for just a minute just to walk through the process of the clips and the review and feedback. To make sure that the clips are meeting the needs of students as we proceed. But I'm sure that's going to follow our IEP review process from past. So Debbie?
Yes, good evening, everyone. Ms. Elrod, thank you for that question. And we have heard that from many families and also from our teachers. We sent out correspondence to our special education teachers last week addressing exactly this. The clip is going to be a fluid document. So again, it's just stating what is in the IEP and how we are implementing services that are in an IEP in a virtual setting. But what we're hearing from our teachers and from our parents as we engage in virtual learning, there are things that maybe weren't discussed during the clip discussion that we're now learning because now we're engaged in the virtual learning. So it's a fluid document. Call that teacher back up and say, hey, something's not working here. This might not be the right platform. We need to look at this accommodation a little differently. And teachers will also be contacting families to say, hey, we're noticing that there's an issue here. Let's talk through this. So it's not one of those things like once it's submitted, it's put on the shelf, it's done. It's going to be a fluid document that we're going to constantly have to have those conversations about.
Okay, so if a parent has a concern, whether it's the recordings are now available in Schoology, we want to make sure that that's documented inside the clip as a modification or as an extension progress, maybe for somebody that's gifted, that they can request that just like you would normally with your IEP, except I guess, do you have to technically call a meeting underneath your rights, or is it just you have to call that
so the clip,
teacher up?
Yeah, the clip is not the IEP. Everything that we know about legalities of an IEP still stays the same. That has not changed. So if you're just talking about something that needs to be revised on the clip, that's a conversation. But if there's anything that needs to be changed within the IEP, then absolutely we need to hold an IEP meeting.
Okay.
But if it's something that just how the service that's on the IEP is being implemented virtually, that conversation can happen within the clip. But if there's anything that needs to be changed within an IEP, we absolutely need to have an IEP meeting.
Sure. Okay. But the clips, we don't have to go through that legal process of calling a meeting and that kind of thing.
Correct.
Okay. Okay. Then I guess regarding virtual therapy sessions or services. So yes. It has, oh, I'm sorry, did I interrupt somebody? So it's my understanding that those services are still not fully available or able to be accessed by all students. So but I think I just heard that they've been available since June. So I'm trying to find out what is the timeline on speech and language and OT and PT being available to our students. And maybe that's a moving timeline dependent on need or availability or how we're able to provide those in a virtual setting. But I'm hoping to get just some detailed information on what is available and how long it's been available and how long it will continue to be available in a virtual way.
So when Dr. Battle spoke about virtual therapy occurring back in June, that was for our students who accessed extended school year, ESY. So we provided virtual therapy for those students who qualified for ESY through the IEP process.
Got it.
With virtual therapy for starting for this school year, we must have consent from the family. For our speech and language, our occupational and our physical therapists to provide that virtual therapy. That's part of their licensure, so we must have that consent. So if a family has not had virtual therapy start yet, it may be because they have not signed their consent form. So we are in the process of putting out a blast to every family who has an IEP to remind them that we need a signed consent. It can be through email. We're sending out letters to families also. If they don't have access to email, we can send it to them through snail mail, but we can't provide those services until we have consent. And that's for your speech and language therapy, occupational therapy, and physical therapy.
And then I want to make sure I say this correctly. To give kudos on that consent form, so my board colleagues know, is also a typable form, so it's easy for families to complete. And if you're not agreeable to do virtual therapy sessions of whatever kind it is that your student would receive, you can still receive consultations. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. And there's that on the consent form, and I'm happy to send that to all the board members. It gives those different options.
Yes. Okay. All right. And then, okay, sorry, everybody. I'm trying to go through all my notes. So once again, my eyeballs are going to be all over my screen.
I'm sorry, Ms. Elbert. I want to make it clear, too, that is just consent for those therapies. It's not consent for special education services to start. Special education services should start day one. It's just consent for those virtual therapies.
Okay. Okay. Sorry, guys. All right. So overall, I know that virtual schooling is, or virtual school is not our ideal for anybody, whether that's our educators, the board, our parents, and it's been really stressful, I know, for everybody. It's a big lift, not only with the central office, but our teachers. I mean, that's not how I was taught to teach, within a virtual setting, and so there's a lot of learning to take place. And every educator I know is a master at being adaptable. I would say that March through May was maybe the Olympics of being adaptable. And now we've had more of a on-ramp for that. And I appreciate that we've been trying to still solve and problem solve for issues like that first day where we had the bottleneck within our system and we were able to quickly identify that and fix it for everybody. And I know there's a lot of frustration within our parents, just because there's a lot that we are asking of them to do, just because of the simple modality of the way that we're needing to provide school for everyone's safety. So I really appreciate everyone's commitment to it and continuing to keep us knowledgeable on it. I would like for us to continue to have more of these updates, and whether that's here within our general board meeting or within teaching and learning, I'm not sure. And maybe Chair Frog, that's a better conversation for you to have. But I would like for us to continue to have these, public updates of where we're standing and where we're trying to still work towards, what systems and issues we've had, and how we're trying to resolve those so we can be as transparent as possible. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Elbert.
We have Ms. Buggs, do you have another question?
Yeah, I did have a couple of questions, if you don't mind. So first, we've had I'm sure we've all been bombarded a bit about the Zoom questions, and I just want to make sure that I'm appropriately responding when I respond to community members. It's been my understanding that we could not use Zoom because of privacy issues, and I just wanted to make sure that that's the actual reason, and that there's I don't know, just because we've had some different platform questions. Number one, is that correct? That we can't use Zoom because of the privacy issues surrounding our children?
We are using Zoom because that is our district. I'm sorry. We're using Teams because that is our district platform. And that's where we have all of our filters and security measures around, and our students assigned. And so because that is our secure platform, that's what we're using as a district. We all know that back in the spring, when everybody just kind of frantically went to these online platforms, that there were some issues with Zoom if it's not your secure platform that you're using, because of the not having to have a code or being able to sign in to those sessions. And so because it is our secure platform, that's why we are utilizing Teams. And I'm sure Doug is on the call. If you want to add anything else, please let me know. But that is the platform that we're trained on, and that our system is based upon for us to all have access, from students all the way up through administration.
So then I have a kind of a follow-up question there. In cases where families are being kicked out of Teams, or just where there are connectivity issues, do we have a stance, or have we put a stake in the ground about teachers sending out Zoom links to subsidize, if there is an issue with Teams, or if there's a parent that can't, or a family that can't get logged on? Are we completely opposed to it, or are we allowing that?
Our recommendation, and what we're encouraging our staff to do, is to use Teams. That's where we can support them best and provide the appropriate security in engaging in the online platform. What I would recommend in that particular situation, if someone is having connectivity issues with Teams, is to reach directly out to tech support. We have been pretty boots on the ground trying to just kind of keep pace if there were issues or not. And when there have been issues, they've been really isolated to this is your individual situation, either through connectivity, maybe issues with the device, or a number of other things. I don't claim to be the tech expert. So I would recommend that if someone is experiencing any issues being kicked out or not having a stable connection with Teams, to reach out to our tech support so we can help them troubleshoot. As a district, we've not had any large network issues with Teams, with Schoology, or with any of our online platforms for students to engage in the virtual environment.
All right, a follow-up question is about so we've given out a little over 40,000 laptops so far, and I know you told us way back when that we wouldn't get in that last shipment of devices until October. Is there any kind of update about specific dates, or how many devices we have right now that are available? And then with the remaining, almost 7,000 hotspots, where are those right now? If I have a family today that says, hey, we need a hotspot, we didn't know we could pick up one, we want to go get one tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Well, as late as today, we received about 4,000 of those new devices. We received a previous shipment of a couple thousand devices as well, so they're starting to come in. We know that they'll be coming in over several months. Maybe even beyond October. But what we have available to our students, because we have 41,000 devices out there, we're now going to be able to, in an equitable way, start to either replace those devices and or get one in the hands of students who don't already have one. So that's the answer to your first question. What was the second question again, if you don't mind?
About the 7,000 hotspots that we have in this.
We are deploying devices and hotspots from the schools. So if there is a need from a family for devices or hotspots, they just need to reach directly out to their school. Their school will make a request, and we deliver those devices to the school.
Okay, and then I know we're still talking about students with any kind of exceptional need and those with one-to-one supports. We have had it specifically asked of us that we open our school buildings for those students. I also don't want to sacrifice any one person to COVID. So I wanted to just kind of see where your thoughts were around the one-to-one supports students who cannot get on virtually. What would be your suggestions to the family, or how can we help you troubleshoot that? Just any thoughts?
Yes, so I'm just going to take us back a couple months and weeks. We've been planning since long ago when we first knew that we'll be facing a different reopening to open, whether it be in a virtual setting, traditional, or hybrid. So we have planned for that, and we're ready to go with those plans as soon as conditions allow. Specifically for our students with exceptionalities, we continue to engage in conversations with our families, with our chairs of our team advisory group to get feedback around what services are providing. I mean, we're just in week 2, and so we're trying to really assess where the gaps are, but also where the opportunities are. And so that is definitely a part of our conversation. Our CNI team, Dr. Bellamy and Dr. McAdams and others are in weekly conversations with that team of various stakeholders for us to continue to plan for the future. As you've stated, we've got to make sure that conditions allow, and as soon as conditions allow, we'll be looking for offering those traditional face-to-face learning opportunities to our families. And that could look many different ways. That could look across the district. That could be very specific to our exceptional education students first. We could be looking at our elementary students first. I think it could really pan out to be a lot of different structures, but we've got to be really informed and really smart about us moving in the face-to-face traditional options. We also know that what's happening across not only our state, but across the country, as schools are opening in the traditional setting, schools are just as fast as they're opening, they're closing or going to a hybrid model because we've not been able to contain the spread of the virus. And that could be students, that could also be the adults in the building. And if the adults are ill and not able to be there to support their students, you're still not able to operate your buildings in full capacity. So there's lots of complexities here. And I'm just going to take this opportunity to just encourage the community. I mean, this is really up to us as adults, as a community, to do what's necessary so that we can open up our school buildings. It will be a joyous day for us, for our teachers, for our principals, for our support staff, for our bus drivers, everyone. We miss having that physical contact, being in the same space with our students on a day-to-day basis. And so as soon as conditions allow, we look forward to the day that we can welcome our students back, even if we have to be very strategic about who comes in or comes back first.
And I have one last question in that vein. Do you know of any identified community partners who are specifically targeting supports for families with students with exceptional needs? Or is there any place that if I'm a parent and I'm not able to go to work because I have a student with exceptional needs at home with me, is there any place that I could take them?
Debbie, do you have any recommendations, or do you know of any specific organizations that are helping and supporting in this space?
I don't off the top of my head. We've been collaborating with STEP, which is one of the advocacy groups. So we met with Autism Tennessee last week. I can reach out to them and see if there's any specific groups that are offering like respite for families.
Thank you for that.
Okay, do we have a question from Ms. Bush?
Yes, this is for Dr. Battle. Oh, you guys have done a lot of work. Yes, you all have. So proud of what you guys have done. I have several questions. The first one is the $1 million question. We have 27 days left for school to start.
Ms. Bush, we've lost you. We can't hear you. I think I went mute. There you go.
I think I'm there. Am I there?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so Dr. Battle, I just want to tell you guys have done a great job on this whole process of virtual. As you know, I'm in the trenches too now. So I have K through third graders in my...
Oh, I think we lost you again.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so I just wanted to tell you again, thank you. And so, I'm in this virtual world too. Of course, having the K through third graders in my center. Of course, I did the exemption and all that good stuff. Not only do I try to talk the talk, I try to walk the walk, right, and try to help our students. And so I've been firsthand behind the scenes on how this virtual thing looks. But I'm gonna just make a few comments before. So we have 27 days left before we're supposed to reopen schools. And of course, safety is always a priority, number one, for our students and our teachers. But parents are really, really, really antsy, and they want to know, what are the plans? How soon in advance would you give these parents a timeline, I guess, if we don't go back on the 8th? Is it the 8th? September 8th? Is that the date? Okay, and it was the 8th. Okay, so tell me, like a week in advance, 2 weeks in advance, that parents can kind of get more prepared for some kind of announcement that we'll be looking for as far as the future of opening.
Yes, of course. What I've been communicating from the day that we decided we were going to go virtual and we made that announcement, I've shared with families that we would look to communicate at least 2 weeks in advance whenever possible, just considering we don't know how long we might be in this virtual space, but we're going to always try to shoot for around 2 weeks to give parents, to give staff an opportunity to adjust. And so we will be looking at 2 weeks prior to, which is around August 24th, 25th, for us to update families on where we are. And just so the board knows, our teams have continued to meet. We actually meet daily for updates with regards to the virtual environment and also monitoring the data, the metrics that are before us. And so that is a kind of an ongoing process that we have. And we have continued to still plan around and keep at the forefront of our planning the various scenarios that if we get to the 2 week mark out from Labor Day, that we can announce to be ready to go if our structures change. But we also know that we can't take virtual off of the table just yet until we know with certainty that the conditions will allow us to do so.
Absolutely. Yes. And are we still kind of getting prepared as far as the building, the social distancing in the buildings? Are we still going towards that process just in case? Are we still moving in that direction?
Absolutely. The day that we allow for our students and staff to be back in our buildings, we will be prepared. We have already purchased and secured our PPE for our staff, also for our students. We've already started the planning around some of the requirements and kind of non-negotiables for social distancing once we're back in our buildings. Also working with our custodial team to make sure that they're well prepared and have everything in stock and ready to go once we return. And I will also take this opportunity to give a shout out and thank you to Pencil for their partnership with the Together for Teachers campaign. They delivered over 5,000 starter kits, I'll call them, for our staff, for our teachers, that included basic school supplies and hand sanitizer. You can't find hand sanitizer right now. And so all of our teachers received one of those bags, their personal bags already, as well as some of the supply kits that are coming from the state. And so all of those supplies will be in hand and we will be ready to go once conditions allow us to do so.
Excellent. Next question is about our teachers. I know teachers have had a lot of concerns about returning to the classroom because of their concerns on safety and family members, just having that I guess that space and place of having that conversation with them. How are they feeling? Are you getting the feedback? Are you in, I'm sure you are in touch with MENA and those of the teacher world, just kind of how they're feeling about the response?
Mm-hmm. Our staff is still, what I'm hearing is they still have a concern with regards to the in-person scenario. I can't speak for every single employee we have, but I have still consistently heard the concern with regards to where we are with our local context and the spread of the virus. We've quite frankly had many more conversations with commendations and celebrations for our staff because they have done tremendous tremendous work in the virtual environment. I think Ms. Elrod said this as well. You don't go to school and learn how to teach in the virtual environment. So there has been learning curves, there's been capacity building, there's been even frustrations and anxiety on their side, just trying to get it right for our students for the first days and weeks of the school year. And so what I will say and commend our staff on is they've just been really focused on giving our students their best right now. And they've really trusted the process and us doing what they feel is right and best to protect their safety, their health, theirs for their students and for their families. And so I've heard that consistently, just being able to really focus right now on educating our students, although this is a unique and challenging way to open up the start of the school year. So I've not been bombarded with teachers being concerned of the opposite of being back in the classrooms. Of course, they cannot wait till that happens, but they also understand what we're dealing with right now in the global pandemic and just giving our students their best right now.
Awesome. Thank you for that. I do want to give a complete shout out to those teachers that are really working hard to make sure that the virtual learning is consistent, and it's definitely the kids are definitely engaged from what I can see from what I do with the students every day.
Ms. Bush, I'm sorry, we've lost you again. It went mute.
I think my computer just like to go to mute. I don't know. But anyhow, I just want to say, but no, did you hear me tell you thank you? No, I want to also give a shout out to our teachers, because our teachers are really doing a great job, a fabulous job on the virtual side. I know it's been a lot of hiccups on trying to make sure that they are making sure that their courses, that was another suggestion I wanted to make. What I saw when I was doing the virtual learning with the students is that it makes it a lot easier if we can have the links in Schoology in their courses. That would really help a whole lot, because what happens, I think we're navigating too much to try to get to one section, make sure the students are logging on, making sure they're clicking the right link. And if we can have it, now some teachers are doing that, but if it would be so much easier for the parents or guardians or grandparents that are helping their students to be able to navigate very, very easily, where so in Schoology, of course, you know how it all looks. In their courses, if we can just have those links and those times and really actually the schedules, that will help out so much, because that way we know daily. Because what we've had to do is go in before we leave every night, just to check the students' courses to see what's going to happen the next day and their times. And that way we're doing sticky notes on their laptops to say, okay, this student has to go in at this time. So if we can kind of minimize or make it a little bit more easier for navigation purposes. And that was just one of my recommendations. I think everything else is looking good. The teachers are doing well.
I'm so sorry, your computer's turned off again.
Did you hear me on the links? Did you hear me on that part?
And so the team is listening, and we're taking in that feedback, and so we'll continue to support our teachers in making it as user-friendly as possible with how to access their courses and their course content. So thank you for that, and that's another reason we're pushing everything into Schoology to begin to help with that. And as you said, we'll continue to work out the kinks. It's not perfect yet, but we're working towards getting things perfect and definitely user-friendly.
No, it's okay. And this is like our, first really real week of this, right? So, and then one thing I do want to make sure that I definitely want to be a voice for those parents and those grandparents and those friends and those neighbors that are taking in children to help them with the virtual learning, because their parents have to work. And I want us to be very, very cautious and very empathetic that parents do have to work and they don't use school as daycare. I do want to make that very clear, because parents are getting very insulted by that statement. No, it muted me again. Okay, so I know it's easy for us to say that, parents are not taking the responsibility to teach their kids. I've heard so many parents, and it's so true, they're not teachers. They're just not teachers, and they're trying so hard to accommodate this new world of virtual learning because of safety measures for our students. So I want us to be very, very cautious. I see it happening now. So we need to make sure that we are very respectful and we are being very sensitive of don't say that we're using this for daycare, because I see it firsthand. I actually had to have a grandparent to come. He called me from my district. He just did not know how to use Schoology. He had his grandchild that's in 5th grade, and I invited him to come to my facility. Didn't know him, okay? Didn't know him, but I heard the frustration, and I heard that he needed so much help. And so me and my staff stayed behind, or actually we met him on a Sunday, this past Sunday, just to help him navigate the system. And he's a grandparent. He doesn't know anything about this. He's 70 years old, but he was trying to help his grandson because the dad has custody and had to work. So we have to be careful about how we use our words and how we address these kind of things, because it's very sensitive. And it took us a little time to get him through the process, and he did a great job on taking notes. So we knew he was okay the next day because he didn't call us. So he did very, very well. But let's be really careful. This is not about we're using this for daycare. No, parents don't know how to do this because they're not teachers, they're not educators. And so they are honest when they say that. So I just want to make sure that we're very, very careful when we talk about parents. And it's just, and that's one thing that kind of stuck out to me in this conversation with Ms. Buggs, is that we have to be careful.
Ms. Bush has clicked off again.
I'm back. So we just have to be really careful, because I'm an advocate for these parents, and I see it firsthand, and I'm in the trenches with these parents. And I'm in the classroom to see what virtual learning looks like every single day. So I just want to make sure I made those points. And Dr. Battle, thank you guys for all that you're doing. Those teachers are doing a great job. And I know we're going to kind of keep working through these little kinks, but I appreciate you, and thank you guys.
All right, thank you, Ms. Bush. Any other questions or comments?
Ms. Frogue?
Yes, Dr. Gentry.
Yes, so I just kind of want to get us back on track to a couple of other comments that were made. I think we just may have sort of missed them. One of the things, Dr. Battle, that was mentioned in this restart of schools was an assessment of learning loss. I think something that Florida Virtual Schools had, and an ability to conduct this assessment. Has that happened yet, or where is that falling in the timeline in the virtual world?
Yes, for us, we actually will be using MAP for that purpose, and a communication went out to school teams, I believe it was yesterday, and we will open up our window as of the 17th, I believe is the exact date, and we're going to provide a few weeks for our schools to be able to administer MAP for that purpose.
Okay, and again, just on again, as other board members have been receiving the call for especially those more vulnerable in our younger population of students to return to the school building. There's just no perfect scenario for that. And so I just appreciate your diligence in monitoring that and just being prepared for when we can move into a different phase, right? So we're not saying at this point that it's either this or 100% in the building. It's either this and then transitioning into some hybrid model. So we want to make sure we're clear about that. And then just to echo Ms. Buggs' comment about funding, this isn't to make this issue of a pandemic a financial issue, but our inability to be as supportive as we could be, especially from a technology perspective, is a funding issue, right? So a lot of our technology dollars continue to get cut. We can practice a holistic and a tech refresh process and model with integrity because we keep getting thrown off track. With our ability to have in-house and on-hand devices that are current and up to date, and that is a funding issue. And so we just need to be mindful of this moment. So I think the lessons learned here are innumerable. And one of them, again, is making sure that we take care of those things that allow us to be responsive to the myriad of needs of the students that we have. So again, I just want to thank you and echo the other board members for you and your staff. And I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that you and your team and our teachers are bringing their best into this virtual environment. And we continue to ask for patience and grace and know that the decisions that we're making, as difficult as they are the decisions that we know are best for the health and the holistic health of our children and our staff. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, Dr. Naba McKinney.
Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Battle, for your overview and your presentation, and as well as with all the other board members and all of your questions. A lot of my questions have been answered. Also want to take a moment and welcome Dr. Bellamy to the MNPS team. Great to have you on board and look forward to the work that you're going to do in our community. I do have a couple of questions related to the transition back into the building. Is there any thought about what that would look like? Should the decision be made to do that transition? Will we do it in a phased approach? Will we do it all together? Kind of what will that priority kind of look like? That's a question that continuously comes up. And so has there been any thought on what that transition looks like?
Thank you for that question. Yes and no. So yes, there's been lots of planning, scenario planning with the team, and so we have continued those conversations around prioritization and what are kind of the non-negotiables to ensure that we have a safe return to our buildings as soon as conditions allow. As far as a decision being made, that has not been determined. Of course, that will be something that the board will definitely play a role in and advise around. So that we can make the best decision for our students, for our staff, and for our families. And, you know, not to steal phrases or thoughts here, but as Dr. Gentry mentioned, regardless of the decisions moving forward, they will likely not be perfect decisions to solve for everything for everybody. And so we're trying to be very diligent in making well-informed decisions, given the spread of the virus, but also prioritizing, again, the safety, the health of our students, but also educating them at a high level. So that determination has not been made yet, but are we planning around the various transitions to a safe, efficient, and equitable return? Absolutely.
Thank you for that. Another question that I have following up with that is around you mentioned that they will do diagnostic testing at the beginning of the year using MAP. So how will that testing be rolled out across the school system with students and families?
For that particular assessment, similar to what we've done in years past, MAP is an assessment that we've used across all of our schools across the district for a couple of years now. And so our research assessment and evaluation team has already provided guidance to our school teams about the logistics and mechanics of that. We'll be supporting them in the weeks to come with office hours and additional clarification as needed. But I also want to take this opportunity to commend our research assessment and evaluation team, because they've started months ago working with other large urban school districts around this specific space of assessing learning loss for our students. And so we have a lot of credible data to suggest that the way in which we're approaching assessing learning loss for our students is efficient and can provide us critical data to help inform our plans as we move forward. And so again, I want to commend Dr. Changus, Tina Stinson, and that entire department for their work, because they did a lot of due diligence to make sure that we could provide a equitable way to assess learning loss and consistently across the district.
Thank you. I also want to take this opportunity. I've had a chance since I've joined on board in this last week or two to visit our schools in District 4 and really see firsthand the great work that administrators, teachers, and support staff are doing to really meet the needs of students and really outreach and support families in this process. And so I just want to take some time to not only thank you and your team, but also the front-hand workers, our administrators, teachers, and support staff who are on the ground doing the work, and really thank them for the hard work that they're doing. They are really making a difference. And so when I saw that you had the comment from Dr. Covey, I also had a chance firsthand to see McGavick Elementary in the work. On the ground, really engaging families and supporting families. And so it was very heartwarming to see the work that they were doing within the schools, but at the same time, it's also very heartwarming to see how families have really come together and partnered together to really support students and one another in this effort. And so equally, I'm thankful to our parents and our community members for really coming together to galvanize in this community and really using that village model to support one another. I also want to thank our community partners. We had a lot of community partners that stepped in to provide backpacks and school supplies for students across our community as well. And so that has been really great to see all of this outpour of support and really galvanizing during a critical and hard time within our district. And so thank you so much for all of you that I've mentioned in this work. And we know that it's not going to be easy, but these are learning curves that we've never experienced. And I think we're doing a phenomenal job of continuing to do that work with students in mind. So thank you.
Thank you. And again, I want to echo that sentiment. Our teachers, our principals, our paraprofessionals, our bus drivers, our nutrition services team, everybody is really just stepping up and doing what's necessary to support our students. And so I just don't want to let this opportunity go without just commending them again and again that they are finding ways. I mean, our team is, even if it wasn't in their job description before now, they're doing what's necessary to make things work successfully for us collectively as a district. So thank you for that.
All right, Ms. Buggs, do you have more comments?
Yeah, just a couple more about the parapros. I think it would be good to just remind parents and families that if they have an exceptional need or a child with any kind of exceptionality, if they've had a one-to-one parapro for a while or one that they built a relationship with, feel free to reach out to them directly. But of course, you can reach out to your principal or to the school directly to ask for any kind of support that you need. I would also really recommend that families go ahead and print out, if they don't already have one, but print out the IEP so that they are knowledgeable around the accommodations, that they're knowledgeable around when updates need to be made so that we can be moving toward those fairly quickly. I mean, I think it's a beautiful thing to see parapros actually in the homes of students, but I want people to know that that's not really what we're asking, you know. So we appreciate parapros going above and beyond and doing for their students, but I also know that this is not an easy lift. You know, there are those of us that just really want to make sure we're not sacrificing one life for another. So I think like I said, there's movement to be made, but there's been so much movement that it really is commendable, and we don't want this to be a gaslighting session where we're just doing a lot of praising, but it is worth noting all the work that's gone into this. It's worth noting that we are listening to and hearing the parents that have some extra needs. So we're here to support however we can. But I think it's really important that we acknowledge the hard work of teachers and staff. And I mean, driving past schools and seeing cafeteria staff go in or seeing bus drivers drop off lunches. I mean, we've just had a lot of support from that community. We cannot echo that enough, that this would not be possible without partners or without partnerships. So thank you to those paras. Thank you to everyone supporting families. Reach out to your school board member if you don't know who to get in contact with. And I think it was really interesting, Dr. Battle, that you said this week alone, our enrollment centers saw an influx of a couple hundred students. So people are realizing that, you know, students do need the support of staff in schools. I think every family wants what's best for their children, and heaven forbid we acknowledge the idea that MNPS is the best, you know, that we have made great strides. So just appreciate y'all.
Okay, Ms. Pippa Walker.
Hello, I was that person that was muted. Okay, I want to be quick. I'll be quick. So I want to also echo all of this. I want to say, Dr. Battle, your leadership has inspired our city, and your voice and your ability to mobilize a whole, small city on behalf of kids is inspiring. I want to give a huge shout out to Chris Barnes and his team. That is unprecedented. The low numbers of openings of teachers. We haven't seen those numbers in my career here. Not at the beginning of the year, not in the middle of the year in some cases. And so big shout out to that whole HR team and principals moving quickly to fill spots. So quick question for you. I know Williamson County has got early grades returning. A lot of kindergarten parents, first grade parents, second grade parents asking, is there a world in which we phase in our youngest learners first? Is there other conversations happening around that? Is that something you guys are looking at, watching other districts for?
Again, we've planned for those scenarios. We've, again, not only just in traditional and virtual, we're considering, do we do a, K-12 phase in? Do we do early grades? Do we prioritize our exceptional education students? So all those conversations are happening. Again, just following the metrics, the data, we want to make sure that we do so in a safe manner, but we also need to be cognizant of what's happening in these face-to-face environments that students are going into, and we're definitely starting to see things evolve with regards to number of cases and who has a positive case and the impact it has on the school environment.
Okay. I know a lot of us are, and we hear from parents, our parents have become and have always been tremendous advocates, and I think they are, I salute every single one of them doing everything they can for their students. Thinking a lot about our homeless students, our hero students, and our students in state's custody. Do we have a special plan to make sure they're connected and supported?
We have central office leads who are prioritized in that space. Of course, Catherine Knowles is working closely with our HERO program. Catherine is a part of all of our planning conversations to make sure we're keeping our HERO students in mind and prioritize with regards to devices and meals and one-on-one supports. And the same thing for our other specialized groups of students. Dr. Cherie Walker is focused in on our students who may be incarcerated and in our JDC program. And so she elevates those conversations in every planning session that we're in. And so we have really focused in for each adult, for each employee that's a part of the central office team, what they should be, what lens they should be looking through to hold us accountable to make sure that we're not leaving any students behind and that we're exhausting all of our resources and opportunities right now to engage them fully and support them fully in the virtual environment.
I have one more quick question. I'm hearing that, because we're on a 4x4 schedule for high schools, that there might be a fair number of seniors who graduate in December that are going to complete graduation requirements in December. I want to make sure we are being very thoughtful about making sure they are prepared to graduate and move on to post-secondary, that they're getting counseling about that transition. I just think we have a spring mindset for a lot of that work. And so how are we monitoring kids who might leave us in December? We want to make sure that they are handed off to a national state or to wherever they go, right? That they're not falling off our radar and not going on to post-secondary. And the other thing I want to say is I want to make sure that we are not shortchanging kids on advanced coursework and not offering the full spectrum of advanced coursework, whether it's in middle school or high school, and that we are still prioritizing really good content and curriculum.
Yes, absolutely. So the ability to graduate in December has always been available to our students. A 4x4 block does allow students to obtain full credits in a semester's time. And so we have been thinking and planning around that. That's part of the work with the Better Together initiative with Nashville State. And so part of that is transitioning students in mentorship and college access courses that they might be eligible for in the spring to help set them up for success as they transition later in the summer or next fall. We met with our high school principals actually just this week to share with them a new dual enrollment expanded opportunity for our students. Nashville State in particular will now be a part of a pilot with TBR, which allows us to get many more of our students in dual enrollment opportunities. And so the conversation, quite frankly, we had is that this is a unique environment, a unique space for all of us, but we don't want to walk past any opportunity for our students. And so our school principals, high school principals, and counselors right now are working to identify students who might be eligible for dual enrollment courses, to obtain dual enrollment courses now in the fall. And for those who are unfamiliar with dual enrollment, it gives our students an opportunity to get high school credit and college credit at the same time. And so, and they can do that without any fees for them, giving some of the grants that are out there. And we cover books and resources for them to be able to engage in those courses. So absolutely, we are pushing ourselves to continue to provide those expanded advanced academic resources for our students as we move into this school year and into the spring. And one grand opportunity that the virtual environment gives to us is the ability to offer more advanced academics, because it's not school-based. It doesn't have to be facility-based. And you all know that course loads can dictate sometimes if you can offer some of those specialized courses. And now in the virtual environment, it doesn't matter which school you attend, you can still have access to some of those most rigorous courses. And we're also exploring that for our middle school students and our elementary students. We've definitely transitioned our Encore services to the virtual environment to make sure that our gifted and talented students still have the same access to the rigor.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? Last call.
I just want to.
Oh, go ahead, Ms. Player-Peters.
Yeah, and I just kind of want to just think about this from a system-wide standpoint. I think my colleagues addressed the parental issues and the teacher issues, and the importance of having a safe environment. But also, I know people on different sides of the spectrum, but I think also it's very important that we acknowledge that we really do care about the safety of our kids and our students, and being very mindful of how we transition an outbreak, and that we would hate to have a child's death on our hands because we were not careful or mindful, or we did not transition in a mindful way of how we do. We would not probably be in the summer situation that we are if local officials across the country, particularly like in Florida and some of the western hotspots, if local officials actually transitioned and did not rush into a high-phased area with the transition of adults being out. And so so this means thoughtful as adults, wear your mask, try to teach your kids to transition themselves to get acclimated to wearing masks so we can get to an ideal in-person environment. But with the social media chatter and some of the media chatter that we're not thinking about the safety and the health and the lives of children and teachers. And I think we're trying to be very mindful of that, and that we don't want to rush into something just because, and then unfortunately have a child's death on our hands or have a teacher's death on our hands because we were too busy trying to rush to achieve academic rigor, and it's important that we do that, but more than we're thoughtfulness. This whole country's doing this at the same time. Learning loss is happening in the entire country at the same time. We're not in an isolated bubble, and that we also need to be mindful too, I think, as leaders and as community people, that we also think forward in this crisis moment for opportunities that we see right now, even in the public sector, how this COVID pandemic has transitioned and changed how the workforce looks like, and how we start prepping our kids. What it looks like that more workforces are probably going to go in a more virtual environment. Also transitioning, how do we ideal environments to be in person, but also how do we maximize the opportunity to really prep our children for secondary education, and then also in the career-wise, while we look forward as we recoup and while we try to make up for that learning loss. How can we be innovative and thoughtful in the future about it? And then also really think about, during the budget, there was a lot of comment about central office, cutting central office, the purpose of central office, its ongoing refrain that you have in its educational field. And thinking about IT issues is central office. That IT people aren't assigned to specific schools, and that the whole process, I was telling a lot of parents who were very frustrated about trying to log on. If you include students and teachers and faculty and staff and administrators, we have over 100,000 people logging into one master system, all the same day, all one moment. and that something is going to happen just because of the sheer volume of that, and that infrastructure of broadband, of DSL is bigger than the school system. That is a private sector, government sector system that you have, technology coming in and off, coming in and out, that we have a system, an infrastructure system that is not made for video to go out, but people to come in. And so understanding that as we have bigger conversations next budget season within MNPS, but with also Metro General Government, and then also with the private sector and our partners, what does that look like in this new world of technology and as we grow? And so I know we have more pressing issues, but I think it's also that we're very mindful that also the few brief fleeting moments we have to think and reflect, we're also thinking into the future and how we can be innovative in our education, career and academics as leaders and as thought leaders and as practitioners to think that through. So I'm going to kind of put that out there just as a totally different perspective, as thinking more of a big picture and a system picture of that. But just really thank the administration. I know it wasn't easy, I know it wasn't smooth, but also put in perspective of what was going on in the entire county of 666 square miles we have to cover in educating our children with 85,000 students and over 10,000 employees. We are managing a system that's something literally 6 months ago. And remember, we passed our budget less than 60 days ago. And that time to purchase materials, deal with COVID funding, CARES funding, getting approval from it, getting approval from the county, from the states. There was a bunch of hoops that we had to jump through as a system, all within less than basically 60 days to make this happen on a day. And we were the first to do it. So I just want to commend that and just put in perspective from a systems point that this was going on behind the scenes that parents and teachers could not, or teachers did see, but parents and students may not see in the forefront. So just thank you for that. And this hopefully we can think at times when we have moments to think and reflect, we can be thoughtful of it. So thank you.
Thank you so much, and thank you to all of the board members for your continued support and just prioritization for our students.
Thank you, and I don't want to take up any more time, but I do want to say congratulations on the teacher vacancies. I meant to mention that earlier. It's just phenomenal. I can't believe the difference between last year and this year, so thank you for your hard work. All right, so if we don't have any more comments or questions, we'll move on to announcements, and I will start with Ms. Pupa Walker tonight.
Okay. I want to just congratulate my colleagues, Ms. Gentry, Ms. Buggs, Ms. Blair Peters on their victory at the campaign on the election night, and welcome our new incoming board members, Emily Masters and Abigail Tyler, and excited to have Dr. Nabab McKinney here. And so I think, we will have an all-female board for the moment, and we're going to kill it. So anyway, everybody, thanks so much for all the great work and partnership. Appreciate every one of y'all.
All right, thank you, Ms. Pippa Walker. Ms. Blair Peters.
Yes, and to piggyback what Ms. Pippa Walker said, I think it's to welcome our newest colleague, Dr. McKinney. Sorry, I butchered your name. Forgive me, my mouth is dry. That in the year of the anniversary next week, we are celebrating the 100th anniversary of the women's suffrage, and the fact that we have a all-woman board in that in the year of the 100th anniversary of the suffrage movement, to show the progress that women made and to show our students that history is continual and it's growing and it's living, and that the fact that we have come to this moment, that this is kind of an awesome moment in time, that we continue to have an all-woman board in this month and going into next week as we celebrate this historic moment. And coming up next week, the National Public Library is going to have a special program honoring that and honoring the Women's Suffrage Room that's starting to be a great educational project about civics and government and how government can grow and evolve and the Constitution can grow and evolve, and Nashville continue historic presence in the national history books at the moment. So just thank you to everyone doing that. So congratulations to my newest colleagues and for continuing that tradition and this specific specific moment in time, and that we would be able to make history, and that we are a completely all-woman board compared to our Metro Council counterpart, who are also at 50% and also have gender parity on the governing side. So just want to say thank you. Welcome to the new school board members that will be coming on. We really appreciate that, and congratulations on your victory. And just a thank you to all the employees who have worked hard. I saw the bus driver right across the street from my house delivering lunches every day this week. And so just thank you in this heat. I know it's tough and hard, but we're glad to be here, and we're glad to start a new year, and I look forward to working for you in the future.
Thank you, Ms. Blair Peters. Ms. Bush.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so kudos to everybody, but my bell rings for the teachers and the students. This past last week of virtual learning, and this week.
Oh, you're out again. Your mic's out.
Okay, can you hear me? I'm back.
You're back.
Oh, I'm back. Okay, so again, my bell rings for the teachers and the students and the parents. They really did an amazing job last week and this week on this virtual learning, this new world of learning. And I want to let them know how proud we are. I know it's been very challenging throughout this whole process, and that we are here for them, and we're going to continue to be a cheerleader and a movement of making sure that their children are educated. So I just want to make sure that my bell rings for the teachers, the parents, and the students. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Ms. Bush. Ms. Buggs.
Yes, thank you. I want to first send a shout out to, again, Catherine Green. I really appreciate you inviting me into your virtual classroom in your home. I appreciated being able to understand what issues students and families are having with logging on, and seeing how you troubleshoot as a teacher. And I know that's happening all across the district. I thought it was particularly interesting that she began her class day talking about a book, Fish in a Tree, and they were talking about what you do when something is hard. And I think that was right on time. You know, I think it was a message for Nashville right now as we look to engage our students in this virtual way. So just thank you, Ms. Green, for opening your door to me and being there just for me to ask questions. I also want to send out a shout out to My Brother's Keeper. This is an initiative under former President Barack Obama that now has a chapter in Nashville, kind of spearheaded by some of the greats in our city, Lionel Matthews and Ashford Hughes and Dr. Pratt over at East High. But I mean, there are several men of color who have been engaged in this, and they're really looking to support MNPS students. And they engaged in Fatherhood Fridays in the spring before COVID hit, but they also have done something virtually and are looking to elevate that at a higher level and just really engage men around just volunteering in schools. And I think that would be so timely, and I just can't wait to see what they do. So thank you to My Brother's Keeper and everyone associated with it. I also want to make sure that we acknowledge the batting facility and all the people that have been involved in it. I know Mr. North has been, going back and forth, making sure that there are leasing updates provided to us, and just, Belmont and the Edge Hill Coalition and the Edge Hill families. I mean, we just acknowledge that there has been a bit of controversy, but I appreciate being able to hear you all's thoughts. This is how you advocate, by engaging us, asking questions, and pressing us to hold accountable all parties involved. So just thank you for hearing us out today, even though it was a bit of a long conversation. I'm also so excited to welcome Dr. Berthina Nabama-Kinney, and it was great to be able to see the boardroom, even if it was for just a little while, with a bunch of MNPS staff members that were there to welcome her, and with some of our colleagues, Frida, Jeannie. I know Dr. Gentry, you were out at the polls winning a hard-fought victory, and I know Rachel Ann, you were there in spirit, but you had 2 toddlers to attend to, and Fran was there. I mean, it was just really good to see the boardroom and just, be back in our space, but it was especially good to welcome our new colleague, even though it was a hectic election day. So, and I also want to make sure that we acknowledge our newest colleagues beyond Dr. Berthina McKinney, but the new colleagues that will be sworn in a few weeks, or I'm sorry, in a little over a month, Abigail Tyler and Emily Booth Masters, but also those people that ran. It's always been my idea that when you are called to public service and you put your name in the ring, whether you win or not, I just really appreciate the engagement, and I appreciate people wanting to be involved, especially at a time such as this. So to those who won and to those who weren't able to win, we just appreciate your engagement in MNPS schools and hope that that will continue. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bush. Thank you, Ms. Buggs. Dr. Nava McKinney. Okay, I'm not sure. Oh, there you are.
There I am. Sorry about that. So I'd like to take this opportunity to thank everyone for welcoming me on board and also participating in my swearing in tonight. I'd like to thank all of those who supported me and sent me well wishes on my appointment to the board. I'm really excited to be upon the board and look forward to serving and working with all of you. I'd also like to take a moment to send my heartfelt condolences and thoughts and prayers to the family and friends of Anna Shepard, especially her husband, Larry. Anna was a passionate advocate for public education, not only for students in our district, but across MNPS. I had the opportunity this morning to join Angie Adams with Pencil and Dr. Battle and community members and board members of Pencil to join in and be a part of the honoring of Anna. And she received the E. Bronson Ingram Award, which is given in honor to one of Pencil's founding members, the Bronson Ingram. And Bronson believed that harnessing the resources of community and business partners to support public schools was essential. And each year they recognize a community leader who has played an instrumental role in bridging community support to Metro schools, someone who has contributed to public education in a way that is long lasting and meaningful. And so it was heartwarming and dear to see that Anna was presented this award, and in memory of her, and someone who and Anna is someone who has dedicated countless hours personally and professionally to supporting students. She is a true advocate for public education and for Metro schools, and worked every day to improve the lives of students. And so I just want to take that moment to really express that and express my heart with her family and her community and everyone who loved her so dearly. I also look forward to kind of carrying on Anna's legacy. She was dear in our community, and I look forward to continuing to do the work of serving within our community and meeting the needs of all of our students. I'd also like to take an opportunity to welcome Emily Masters and Abigail Tyler to the team. We look forward to you all joining us. I want to congratulate also all of our returning board members. It is a big celebration, especially during the women's suffrage, that we are a female board with also a female director of schools. And so this is really a statement out there. And I think it would be an opportunity to really embrace that and celebrate that. I also wouldn't be remiss if I did not again reiterate a big thank you to our administrators, teachers, and support staff. I've had an opportunity over the last week or so to really go into buildings and see what they're doing firsthand and be able to really embrace and learn the things that they are celebrating, as well as the challenges that they've had. I've also had a chance to be onboarded real quickly and talking with parents and really engaging with parent concerns and supporting them along the way as well. And so it's very heartwarming to me so much to be able to see how our community has really come together through all of our challenges, and we continue to persist and prevail within the community. And so it's really heartwarming that in that way to really, give a big thank you to all of you who have taken the time to really engage and really make this the best opportunity for our children and our families. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Nava McKinney. Ms. Spearing.
Thank you, Amy. Within the last month, all of Nashville, including lawmakers, clergy, and protesters, joined together to honor and celebrate the lives of civil rights icons, John Lewis and T.T. Vivian. These two men led the way as they marched for freedom. They taught the nation that segregation was wrong and it needed to end forever. John Lewis blazed a trail for generations past and generations to come. And Ms. Elrod, I would like to recommend that we name our next school in honor of John Lewis. I want to welcome again Dr. Berthina Naba-McKinney in District 4, and we're really excited about Emily Masters in District 3 and Abigail Taylor, who won big, and so excited about having you on the board. And again, I'd like to welcome Dr. Mason Bellamy, who is the Chief of Academics and Schools. He has a big job in front of him, and this is only the beginning of the third week. So he's off to a great start. So sad about our two students that were hit by the car. The third grader passed away, so condolences to that family and the students and teachers at Rocket Ship Northwest. There are 3 board members who are assigned to the trust, to the insurance trust. So I wanted to remind you all that there is a trust meeting at 1 o'clock on Wednesday, August the 26th. That will be a virtual meeting. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Spearing. Ms. Elrod.
Thank you. So I too would like to welcome Dr. Naba-McKinney to our board. Of course, additionally, Theodore and Atticus would like to welcome Omar. And I guess that should be a warning to all of you that the 6-year-olds are going to take over. Also, congratulations to my soon-to-be colleagues, Emily Masters and Abigail Tyler. And I am glad to continue to work with Dr. Gentry, Ms. Player-Peters, and Ms. Buggs. I too also want to thank Pencil for their Together for Teachers initiative. They worked really hard at partnering with lots of corporations to provide the resources that were inside the gifts for each teacher, including some gifts. In case you don't know, that one of the big gifts was that 10 teachers received round-trip airfare from Southwest, of course, when it's safe to fly. And not only was that difficult, but then just the sheer logistics of getting that all out to the teachers in a timely manner and all those care packages being provided was impressive too. So thank you for Pencil's continued support, and thank you to Dr. Battle for asking for that support. Additionally, I want to just thank all of our educators and our staff and our central office employees. It has been an incredible lift for everyone to get not only our virtual classes as on board as we can, but also to our parents who are doing their best. I know that we're all underneath a pressure cooker of stress right now for most of the part. And it is difficult times, but we're doing our best. And so for that, I want to say thank you to everyone that's doing what they can to make sure that their kids are on time, that they are prepared, that they are able to be in a learning environment so that we can best take care of them, and we look forward to them being back in our classrooms.
Thank you, Ms. Elrod. Dr. Gentry.
Hi, thank you, Ms. Froh. I just want to jump on the congratulations to everyone, and I'm really excited about the potential of this specific board as it will be seated in September. Additionally, I just want to thank Angie Adams and her amazing staff at Pencil. Ryan, my youngest daughter, and I had the opportunity to volunteer, I think last Tuesday, and I just want to claim that of the 5,000 plus bags that were done, I'm sure we packed 500 of them. It was a great experience, great group of people to work and have the opportunity to volunteer with. And surprisingly, it was shared that such a small percentage of our teachers actually take advantage of the pencil box and the supplies and the access to those materials. So thank you, Dr. Battle. Angie has reiterated and emphasized to me on several occasions that she appreciates your advocacy for our teachers and your reaching out to her for an opportunity to support our teachers in the way that Pencil is most positioned to do. So thank you again for that, and let's keep this train moving. Oh, and I'm asking Ms. Frog, I don't know if you know that if we can get committee reports from Jeannie, that would be great before we're done.
Yeah, sure. Ms. Walker, would you like to provide a committee report tonight?
How about 30 seconds or less?
Okay.
So we passed a revised attendance policy, 6.200, to update our attendance policy in accordance with state statute. We also passed policy 3.210 on naming of facilities and clarified a lot of areas there. And I thank Ms. Elrod for all her hard work on that policy. And we began a discussion about how to begin to have a student board member serving on the board with us this coming year and putting together a committee to make that happen sooner than later. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right. I thought it might be appropriate tonight to end with a couple of quotes from John Lewis. Ms. Spearing and I had the same idea, it sounds like. The first, I think, is a good advice for us as elected officials. It is, if you see something that is not right, not fair, not just, you have a moral obligation to do something about it. And the second quote is probably his most famous quote, but it's particularly appropriate, I think, at this time. Do not get lost in a sea of despair. Be hopeful, be optimistic. Our struggle is not the struggle of a day, a week, a month, or a year. It is the struggle of a lifetime. Never, ever be afraid to make some good noise and get in good trouble, necessary trouble. And that's all I have tonight. So thank you all for being here, and there being no further business, this meeting is adjourned.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information about this and other programs, visit nashville.org.